Well, listen, you have to ask yourself, is this the season premiere of Ancient Action Figures Season 2? And I say yes. And how long have I been waiting to say? And I'd say yes. It's been too damn long. Listen, it is great to be here with you. It is great to be alive. And it is great to be collecting 6 scale action figures from Hot Toys and In Art and all the companies that go ahead and make them so good right now. Listen, so great to be back here on Sunday. And look, I've got a bit of a panel in here, some friends in here, and we're going to go around the table. But first, we're going to go to the guy who's right diagonal right here, who usually partners with me on a weekly basis since I started this again. It's been about 6 weeks or something, Lane, something like that. But it's good to have you back. While I was going through all of this, the Steelers got Aaron Rodgers. I dig the hat. We're winning the Super Bowl. We're going to beat the Eagles in the Super Bowl. Lane, how you doing, baby?
They're going to try and send me to the hospital at some point with like the worst indigestion I've ever had in my life. Probably around mid-October to early November. That'll probably be my birthday gift this year. But hey, Aries, it is so good to have you back. I am super ecstatic tonight that a couple of my regular mates and everything are going to be able to be here for the season premiere to lend their positivity, goodness, and general just good vibe that they always have. I'm hoping Big Dog Pound shows up tonight, so Chris has to talk like either the macho Hulkster, Randy Hogan. But it's so good. It is so good to be with you, all three of you guys here tonight. And this is like we're in Hogwarts because there's 4 wizards here tonight of the 1/6 collecting community on YouTube. So let's have a great night, everybody. And hey, mates, I'm glad to be here with you guys tonight too. Aries, sir, it's been too long.
It's been too long, and I agree with you. I think we've got 4 wizards here tonight. So without further ado, let's just play the clip right now.
They call him the Wizard.
And listen, let's get to our next guest, the guy whose show I really, really dig. He does a great job with all of his content. It's like you've been a broadcaster for a while. Mr. Cotter, the Hot Toys Hotline. Listen, my man, thank you for joining me here for my return. How the heck are you doing, baby?
I'm doing great, Aries, and I appreciate you having me on. But also I want to say I'm glad that everything's okay with you. I'm glad that you're able to do this. And I think that's the most important thing about, you returning is that you're in good enough health to do what you love and to do stuff that, we all need something to take our minds off the stuff that sucks. And I'm sure it means a lot for you to be here, and it means a lot for us to be here with you. So I'm so glad you're able to do this and finally come back to what you're doing. Because, before I even started getting to the YouTube stuff, I watched your channel and I enjoyed watching your 20+ minute long videos of the market watch and stuff. So, you were missed for sure. So it's great to have you back, and it's great to be here with you. And I'm glad to be here with Chris and Lane. And I keep looking at Lane and I'm like, I'm thinking to myself, like, is this the first time I've ever seen Lane in a hat? Perhaps it has been the first time I've ever seen Lane in a hat, but what a better time to bust it out. So yeah, really from the bottom of my heart, Aries, I'm very happy that you're okay and you're able to do this, and it's great to be here with you guys.
Well, I really appreciate that, Connor. It's great to have you here. I do think Lane looks fantastic in the hat. Again, I'm so stoked about the Aaron Rodgers thing. Let's see how it goes.
I can say that I can try and say that either one of our other 2 special guests tonight have less because I have plausible deniability.
Listen, I'm going to say hi to everybody in the chat. I'm going to echo a little bit on what Connor said here about a couple of things, and then we're going to get to my friend Chris, but he is here. So on the count of 3, if you guys want to do it, a 1, a 2, a 3. Woo! The Big Dog Pound. is in the Mick house, and he's the first one we're saying hi to. And listen, for all of you that are out there that are joining us tonight here on the season premiere of Ancient Action Figures Season 2. Yes, I got a new intro. Yes, I'm waiting for more to come in here live, and we'll go ahead and we'll play it. We've got a lot to talk about. But yeah, no, Connor, it's I really appreciate those words. So for a lot of people that don't know, and I put it up on there. So about 5 weeks ago, 5.5 weeks ago, whatever it was, I did suffer a heart attack, and I didn't even realize what was going on. But it's kind of funny. It's kind of amusing. I call the cardiologist that's on call, and he says, "Well, how do you feel?" I said, "Well, I feel like a knife is going right through my heart." He said, "I think you need to go to the emergency room right now." He goes, "Hang up with me and go right now." Maybe he said baby right now, baby. Who knows? He probably did it, but that's kind of like, okay, I better go. I actually was going to a movie, guys, and everyone in the chat. What is that new Marvel's movie, the new Avengers, the Transformers,
Thunderbolts?
the Thunderbolts? It was really
Yes,
good
it is
movie.
actually out of the movie theaters now.
Let me tell you how much I enjoyed that movie. I felt like a knife going through my heart, pain level of 5 or 6, the whole damn time. And then by the time I got out and walked back to my car, the pain level was about at an 8 or 9. Needless to say, the next day, I winded up in the emergency room. They had to do a CAT scan. They diagnosed me with a heart attack. I got the bypass and all that. But yes, thanks to the Lord, thanks to God, I am okay. And I am here. Got a lot of support from my wife, my kids, my family. And it's going to be a long recovery for a lot of stuff. But I am so stoked, Connor, yes, to be here and to do this live, because I love collecting these action figures. I love doing this. I just have not had the energy. I have not been able to record anything or do it. This is probably the most energy I've had the last couple of days. I was actually able to, and I wanted to do it. I haven't been able to put a Cantina members, an official channel member video out in at least a month and a half because of the situation. I put one out today. If any of you want to know more about my story, how this happened, what was going on, the whole hospital thing, I kind of talk about it on this members only exclusive today. Also, some of you noticed I've been selling a lot of the old Hot Toys figures. I talk about what I'm doing there and a lot of market news in relation to that. So you could go ahead, and if you're a member, go check that out today. Finally was able to put one out. And if you want to join the channel, you got a lot more coming out. It's almost about a half-hour show, but we did that today. But let's go to Chris, collecting madness in the house. I know he's really excited about Aaron Rodgers with the Steelers. How you doing, baby?
Oh man, just because of that, I was gonna say something else, but where are my birds at over here? I need Peyton in here and Big Dog Pound. But all jokes aside, dude, I'm so happy that you're still here with us. Happy to be here, that you can continue to do this. Like the community you've built from your first video you did, I saw long ago, to where you are now, it's truly remarkable. So to have you still here with us, we're all grateful. We're thankful. And the other thing is, not even a heart attack can take Aries out, brother. It's going to be lit tonight. What you gonna do when the Dark Jedi runs wild on you?
Oh, come on, baby. And listen. Woo! That's what it's all about. These doctors, they shake their head. They're like, what are you doing? You feel like you got a knife in your heart. I'm like, listen, baby, I got stuff to do. Anyway, the whole story is in there on what's going on, but definitely really grateful. And Chris, good to have you in here. And you get me kind of excited. Excited to have you on, Connor and Lane. Excited to have everybody here in the chat. Excited about collecting. Excited that I'm all right. Really excited about the Mandalorian and Grogu movie, baby. Because I tell you what, we're going to be talking about that, what is it, The Last of Us And is that a precursor from Hot Toys that we're going to be getting some Pedro Pascal Mandalorian stuff? We know we got maybe some fantastic stuff coming out too. I think they're going to milk that head sculpt to the nth degree. If you have the Mandalorian with that great chrome armor, are we going to get a head sculpt that's going to kind of that's going to make that one seem passe in the past? We're certainly going to go ahead and get into that tonight for sure. Now, for everyone who's watching, this is the season premiere of Ancient Action Figures Season 2. It was supposed to start in the spring. So obviously I had a little bit of a delay, but I was able to do some stuff this weekend, and we're debuting it tonight live. So I'll be playing that intro here in a little bit. Appreciate all you. This is going to block Chris out a little bit unless you can raise your head. But Chris, I do got to put this comment on, which is a long one, but I really appreciate from John Land. I got to put this on. There you go. You can still see it, Chris. John Land, Waste Traveler with the $10 bomb. Hey, I really appreciate that. Thank you so much for the super chat. He says, good to see the man, the myth, the ancient action figure collector in the house. It just hasn't been the same without you here. Without you. Here's to your health, Jared. Jared, I really appreciate that. Really appreciate the sentiment. It's really good to have you in here. And, with that $10 super chat, I think we could fill you up on a pretty good table. All the tables are pretty good, but your comment there is delicious. And I'm sure you're kind of hungry because all we serve up is a lot of drinks. But I think we need some food. $10 bomb. Here you go, baby.
You're delicious, bro. Ciao, boys.
John Land Waste, you are delicious. I don't know where else you're going to get this kind of crazy, weird stuff, but I guess it's my gig, man. John Land, thank you so much for the super chat, for sure. And listen, for all of you that are in here, we're going to go ahead and get to your comments. Anything you want to ask Lane, anything you want to ask Chris, anything you want to ask Connor. So anything you want to ask Collecting Madness, anything you want to ask Hot Toys Hotline, Steeler Fan Lane, go ahead and put it in the chat. That's what we're here to do. We're going to go ahead and answer it. Answer your questions. Anything about anything Hot Toys, anything in art, anything 6 scale, anything about what's going on right now. We'll go ahead and do that. Let's go ahead and put some of the people up there. Thank you, John Landwaste. Vader 45, big dog pound in the house, always wooing as well. Good to have you in here. My pleasure, says John Land. Absolutely. Big dog pound. Good to see you and having you in here for sure. And Tom Daly is in the house saying the goats all in one show. Yeah, Lane, I think you were kind of talking about that. We got 4 wizards in here tonight.
Oh, yeah.
Nobody can take out the wizard. No, I mean, I think, I think this will be appropriate, guys. If I could find this clip, I think the Grim Reaper, the 13th Skull, whoever tried to take me out, but the joke's on him. Listen, you got to have some fun with this because if I'm lighthearted about it, everybody else is going to be. And that's what it's all about. And listen, if any of you disagree with any of my predictions tonight, this is what's going to happen to you.
I find your lack of faith disturbing.
Oh my God, I'm just playing around for sure. Let's get to some of the. I miss doing this. Jose Plus is in here. LMA, still waiting to hear back from you, by the way. Hot Toys Hotline. He's waiting to hear back for you, but good to have Jose Plus.
He's calling me out, dude.
He's calling you out. Come on.
It's about time.
Hide Chris again behind that, whatever you had up. Hide him behind that message again. I want to see.
Eric Hanky says Ghostbusters. Who you gonna call? I hear you. I hear you. That's been some big news while I was gone. Tim Harvey at the house saying, been kind of a lurker on your streams, but I just wanted to express happiness that you're with us today. Right with you. Charlie the Unicorn's in here. Aries, what was your favorite drop since your last video stream dropped since March to today? You know, dude, that is a really good question.
I am on the spot there because there's been a lot.
There's been a lot, and we're going to go over some of that tonight. And we're going to go over market stuff the whole time. But even though we didn't do, we're going to wait to do the season premiere here in a little bit, that intro. But every topic we get to, we're always going to, in between, mix in some market stuff. But I'm going to go ahead and share the screen here and kind of move us to this topic here, because it would also be great to get Chris and Hot Toys Hotline perspective on this. But look, Lane, this is the one I'm most excited about because I was calling this for a while, and obviously a lot of people were as well. But I've really been calling this for some years. But listen, this is absolutely crazy, and I'm going to put up some data here, and Lane, we'll go to you first, and we'll go around the horn. This DX47, and if you go to 6scalecantina.com, I do have it updated. We do have the power rankings. Again, the power rankings are not which figure's the best. It's about which figures are generating the most pull in the secondary market. And without a doubt, this figure is generating the most pull. And you know what's very interesting about this? There's a whole lot to talk about because the U.S. sellers, for the first time, Lane, in that I've ever known at Hot Toys, are outselling the Hong Kong and overseas sellers. And I think it's the fear of the 30% tariff. We're going to talk about that. But you're seeing this is U.S. sellers. After U.S. gets it, $1,350. Not even a best offer, just sold. And for where this is going, a whole lot of deals. But before I get to you, Lane, we'll go to more. I'll put this up on the screen time and time again. Here's another one from June 5th, $1,350 gone from the U.S., the Japan exclusive. Going to another one here, and I'll put this one up from a Hong Kong seller. You see one in the cart right now, and this is Toys for Adults. Usually when it gets to the U.S., it'll come down, but it's not going down. $1,500. Okay, and this guy sold, has one in the cart already, but I'm seeing the U.S. versions, Lane, just this is the number one figure, the number one sought out figure in the secondary market. Lane, I know you got it. Lane, I've been following this even during my health situation. This figure is an Instagrail, a super grail, an ancient action figure, Lane. Thoughts?
Right now in the secondary market, we're just in the twin sons of Anakin. Like, it's just forget the twin sons of Tatooine. It's the twin sons of Anakin. The two probably all the other secondary market figures for the most part orbit around Episode 3, Anakin, Artisan, and the Darth Vader Sith Apprentice. Those are the two ones. And right now, the slightly bigger giant is the Sith Apprentice. Now, I will say, I have seen on BSTs this sell for cheaper than this. So, but obviously we have to take into account too, there's fees and other stuff like that just for using eBay. So that factors a little bit into the price. So if you factor that in, probably what people are actually making for selling these, the cheap now, but however, you're still right. This is still the super grail. The cheapest figure I have seen sold on a BST, where sometimes, they'll put a little bit, or even people who are trying to maybe have something come up where they're having to sell it, kind of like, I need to, quote, get rid of this as soon as possible. The cheapest I've seen it sell is $850. That's the cheapest. That's like the low end. I've seen one go for that price.
It's kind of funny, Lane, because I remember when you sold your original Dark Side Anakin for $800.
Oh, $1,000.
What, a couple years ago, remember?
Yeah. Uh,
Amazing.
So, yeah, and now it's like 350 for that one.
But
But that one's
honestly,
like 7 or 8 years old.
I've never seen anything, um, Chris, that sells like this. Um, that sounds like a Hulkbuster right out of the package. So I think that with Hot Toys and Sideshow, what they've done is they make something exclusive, and these aren't even serialized, but they number them. They're saying, hey, it's limited to 3,000 pieces, or whatever it is, 2,500, and they don't serialize them, but they say that's it. So it's very, very limited. They only offer it in certain markets, and it goes out and it sells more than a Tarkin Vader two pack, sells more than a Hulkbuster. It's changed the game because I think that collectors like that exclusivity. They want what they can't have. It's Anakin. It's crazy. I think in a couple of years, if it stays the way this could be. I don't know. I don't know where this can go north of, but it's a little bit crazy right now. Thoughts?
Yeah, man. It's it's really crazy. Uh and the wildest part is for me that they released this as an exclusive, knowing this is Hot Toys' most sought after, like most anticipated figure, and they know that. Um, like trying to figure it out if they'll do 2.0 of a sculpted version. Like we could talk about that later, but I saw on eBay this figure earlier this month go for like 1,700. Somebody sold, and then I'm just fortunate enough that I have the other Artisan, the light side version. Now I did want this one. I was sad that couldn't get a hold of one, but my brother got a hold of one, paying the price. I think it was a fair price. It wasn't what it's going for on eBay. But let me tell you, man, at first I thought it was going to be a similar figure, just like different eyes, but even with that stupid base that comes with it, like that little piece, there's just a presence to it, like him being a Sith, like, and it being known as Darth Vader, that just blows the other one. I mean, not out of the water because I still like the sculpt, the light side, but like there's an aura around this one for sure. And I think it is because it's that transition to Darth Vader, and he's got that meaner look, and he's tired, and so I don't see it going down unless another one came out.
So, Chris, do you think what may have contributed to this? Do you think where we talk about the 2.0, do you think we've entered the 2.0 dynamic where 5 years ago it was Dark Side Anakin was like, a couple $100 more, and then you had Light Side, but was, like maybe a couple $100 less sometimes on the secondary
even
market?
now.
Yeah, now, but I mean, now we've entered for the next 5 years. We're going to be talking about for when people are looking for the figure. It's good. It's like that dynamic all again from the way it was, previously for the older Episode 3 editions. Now, this one also being that it wasn't actually released in the United States, that doesn't help either.
Yeah, like even now you have these two on the resale within a couple $100 of each other, and not necessarily to say because this one's Dark Side, like yes, that factors, but I think because this one is just a little bit more exclusive, and that there's a different version with a different sleeve, like adding to more exclusivity. And like I was telling my brother, because he was trying to do some stuff with it, I was like, look, dude, I was like, don't mess with this piece at all. Like, don't tamper, like cutting hair. Don't like do anything crazy with the tabards, like modding wise. I was like, because this piece is either only going to go up or stay right where it's at, and for years to come somebody's going to want it that way because that's how it was made, and it's a smaller batch than the light side one. I was like, so just appreciate what you got. Like whoever got it, man, appreciate the hell out of it because it is a beauty, and it didn't come with much. It has its faults, but But man, it's one of those things you get in person and you're just like, there's just nothing but grinning ear to ear, like joy in your face.
I can't wait to open mine up, Chris. And you're giving me goosebumps just talking about it. Like I said in the beginning, it's still in the package. But Big Dog Pound says collecting at 6 Scale Cantina says Collecting Madness did a great job reviewing this figure. So listen, I'm going to have to check that out, Chris, and everybody who's in here. Make sure you subscribe to Hot Toys Hotline, Connor, and also Chris, Collecting Madness. I think everybody should go ahead and check that out for sure. So thank you so much, Big Dog Pound. But listen, it looks like here that I'm getting a call. Could it be from an extraterrestrial? Let's pick it up and find out, baby. Hello? 13th Skull. What's going on, baby? Thank you. I am feeling better. Mm-hmm. Really? In Earth 63, I didn't have a heart attack. And I'm the point guard for the Bulls, and I play for the NBA. Well, hey, man, listen. Give me some of that mojo. Give me some of that air Aries. Let's go with it. Bring that sub to this Earth, to Earth 1. Mm-hmm. The Inner Cowboy has a question for Connor. Well, why doesn't the Inner Cowboy just, hello? Skull. Well, apparently, Connor, looks like the Inner Cowboy has a question for you, and the transmission's going ahead and coming through. So let's see what he wants to say. Here's a transmission now.
Well, looky here. The Hot Toys Hotline, Connor himself. And I have to ask you, baby, will Hot Toys give Sideshow a DX47 Darth Vader or Darkside Anakin for themselves? Or are the rooted hair Revenge of the Sith Ahsoka Serious Anakins? Is that it? What say you, baby?
Look at that. The Inner Cowboy interested in some Hot Toys, Connor. So, hey, thanks for calling Inner Cowboy. But yeah, as we're talking about this and you're seeing it, Connor, I'm going to let you answer the Inner Cowboy's question.
Yeah, so to answer the Inner Cowboy, and Chris and I have kind of talked about this in length, this particular figure here. And I want to start by saying, before it sounds like I'm hoping for something else because I didn't get this, I was lucky enough to have a friend pick this figure up for me at the convention. So as someone that is an owner of this figure, I don't have it yet because I'm still waiting on it for my buddy. I don't think this is it for the rooted hair Anakins. And certainly, the conversation that Chris and I have had and some of my other friends have had, there's so much about this that shows that this is not like the dark side Anakin that we know, the Darth Vader from Revenge of the Sith. This is an Ahsoka show version. The eyes are exactly like they are in the Ahsoka show. They're not exactly how they are in Revenge of the Sith. That's why you got companies making custom eyes like OT Customs and Topo that are like the eyes in Revenge of the Sith. But also, I think it says you lack conviction on the inner part of the box as well, which is a quote directly from the Ahsoka show. So, there's just too much about this that screams, hey, this is inspired by the Ahsoka show appearance of Anakin. And then, to top that all off, you also have the red lightsaber blade, which you see in the Ahsoka show. So, in my opinion, some people might think it's reaching, but I think there's going to be a true, Darth Vader, Dark Side Anakin 2.0, if you will, from Revenge of the Sith. And, maybe that will come in a sculpted version as well. And finally, all those who have been like, why do you keep doing limited rooted versions? Where's the sculpted version? I think that's where they finally come in and, Hot Toys makes a little bit of dough off of this Anakin. And they do the Dark Side Anakin in both sculpted and rooted. And I certainly think it's coming. And what I'm hoping for, and, best case scenario, instead of doing that same lava droid base that they did for the original Dark Side Anakin, I want that platform that they were
Mhm.
fighting on together. That, like, Black Series, they just announced a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive set. Comes with the lava droid, but it also has that platform. So that's what I'm hoping for / like predicting. I think down the line we get that, and I think that's where their mind's going to be with that figures. They're going to do that platform because, let's be real, we're definitely going to get a new Obi-Wan Kenobi. They've done multiple Obi-Wans recently with those the one head sculpt that
Mhm.
they've reused a couple times, but then we also got we got the General Obi-Wan, we got the Kenobi show version, and now we got an episode 2 version finally. So long-winded, but yes, I do see a Dark Side Anakin 2.0 with rooted hair in the future and sculpted hair as well.
Well, no, Connor, very, very well said. And I'm going to piggyback off that and kind of comment on your comments right after I say thank you to Mike Litoris with the $2 bomb. So thank you so very much for that. Definitely making me spill my coffee just like this, baby. Going all the way up over here, I'm going to put this up because I missed it as well. We've got a new member, Christopher Lombardi, joining the 6-Scale Cantina and is now an official 6-Scale Cantina channel member, ancient action figure theorist. And I do appreciate your support here tonight. Very, very nice indeed, for sure. And I think you, my friend, also get this coffee spilling video as well. Yeah. And so, Connor, I like your comments for sure on that. And I think it's very interesting that you brought up that they were very careful in their wording. They didn't call this Revenge of the Sith. This is not a Revenge of the Sith 20th anniversary at all. Okay. This is also not an Ahsoka series exclusive. Okay. Like Balin Skull at all either. And they're kind of funny because I listened to a couple of reviews and it was kind of like, hey, the red eyes are a little off. It should be yellow. And I was like, whoa, wait a minute. No, because some of the comments, some of the verbiage actually was alluding to some of the statements made in the Ahsoka series, and there were more red. So this is 100% accurate. And you have to ask yourself, Lane, is it possible that they were so careful in doing this that they're going to come out with a Revenge of the Sith version? They're going to come out with an Ahsoka version. They may come out with a neon tech version, any kind of version, because I cannot believe, Lane, for 1 second, that Sideshow is going to diss their number one partner in Sideshow Collectibles and say, screw you, baby. We're not giving you any of these. Lane, I know you've talked about this before as well. Give me some of your thoughts, my man.
Well, I mean, it just, Anakin is probably now. Anakin is one of their probably best-selling characters over the last few years. Like both of these, the Artisan one and this one sold out worldwide, respectively. I can't imagine. I mean, look how many Obi-Wans they've done in just the last 2 years now or so.
Mm-hmm.
They're out or pre-ordered or whatever. I just think those guys for a current collector generation, who are going to be 30s, 40s age range, this is, those are their two main Star Wars characters, that they follow through the original trilogy. I think it makes total sense that they did that this one is kind of its own we've kind of talked about it a little bit. This is almost kind of like a concept figure in certain ways,
Yes.
If kind of like that Darth Maul, if I don't know. Now, obviously, it's not maybe exactly that, but if like they had shown us pictures, like, hey, this is how we were originally, like his hair, his eye, the original Sith eyes, Anakin would have had his own kind of coloration if, when he finally just got his anger consumed against his duo as Obi-Wan or something. Like this was concept art we had he was going to have different colored lenses maybe or something, his own style, like red instead of the straight yellow like Palpatine or something, or like he had when he barbecued at the end of the movie. So if this was a concept figure like that, and there was artwork it was based off of, I think we would have jumped on, much easier. Everybody going, okay. And then they would just have a straight Revenge of the Sith. But I can't see. Now, it may be still a little bit before they put one out. Who knows exactly? I mean, we're getting Revenge of the Sith themed figures, whether some exclusives like that, since you were out, that Cody and the 212 finally coming out.
Yep, saw that. Crazy.
Or we had Kit Fisto, which was...
Well, I was out and we got the freaking Vader on the med bay. I mean,
yeah,
I'm going to look at that today because I didn't even get to talk.
That's an actual 20th anniversary.
We've dreamed about that damn thing, Lane.
Yeah, but we just had Kit Fisto get released. So that's a Revenge of the Sith figure. We had Plo Koon announced is going to come next year, which, while maybe not technically exactly 20th anniversary, part of that's quote celebration, it's part of the 20th or Revenge of the Sith line of figures. So I cannot imagine they won't do in some form or fashion a dark side-ish Anakin, like it probably still under a different name, to keep the exclusive from 2018, 2017. But like they had to be very creative coming up with the name of this Darth Vader Sith Apprentice. It'll be, Final Duel Anakin Skywalker from Revenge of the Sith. They'll come up with some name like that. Exclusive, whether it's sculpted or an artisan or whatever. They'll have that come out. It'll be like, Mustafar Final Conflict Anakin Skywalker. And that'll be with him base, yellow eyes.
I think I got to play this for Connor. I got to play it for you. I got to play it for Chris because we're all saying the same thing. And you do have to wonder, is this what they call you?
They call him the Wizard.
Tell you, we're going to be getting into a ton of this because it has literally been a Star Wars but Hot Toys explosion. Just been absolutely insane. And don't forget, on top of everything we're talking about, we actually got this freaking guy. I'll be honest with you, Chris. I don't know if I have looked more forward to any figure than this one right here. Because I just wasn't sure, Chris, that they were going to do that version. I thought they were only going to give us this version. But they go ahead and they give us this version. And as I just filled up table 66, and which should be, you probably need a mop over there and a couple of cantina weights to go and clean it up. Chris, I don't know what figure you're most looking forward to. But that one is next year. I just can't wait to get that damn table 66 one. I can't wait.
When I brought the belt out, that was a part of my promo I left out. That you and Papa Paps have some similarities there. That the attempt on your life has left you scarred, but now your resolve has never been stronger, and we're back, baby. But I'm super excited to get that one. The only Palpatine Emperor that I have is the Return of the Jedi one with the throne. So the fact that I'll get a prequel version, because I skipped on that Clone Wars version, I'm super stoked to have him next to Anakin or even fighting Yoda, like having that version. You just can't go wrong with the most evil guy in the galaxy. I mean, he truly is a mastermind, and just how he played the strings, the puppet strings, and played on Anakin's feelings towards saving his wife, dude. It's a must-have in the collection. And if you have that dark side Anakin, I think they're going to do another, but if they don't, man, the two of them together is just going to be absolutely incredible and look bananas on the shelf.
Well, and let's say I totally agree with you. Let's get to some more of the comments here before we start the debut, the debut intro of Ancient Action Figures Season 2. And I think, Lane, before we do that, you have an announcement because we probably want to tell these people they need to comment, and I'll put you on screen. But let's say hi to some others that are in here. Ash Chase, don't care for Star Wars. Give me more Deadpool. Well, listen, baby. Look, not everything here is Star Wars. Absolutely. I mean, I get it. You may um
You just got like the latest artisan figure for Deadpool. You just had
yeah,
Wolverine,
yeah.
Age of Apocalypse, man.
And
Deadpool
we're about
breaks
to
the
get
fourth wall, but
Deadpool,
we're at the
getting,
cantina, so
yeah,
Deadpool's coming to the galaxy,
Deadpool just
far, far away.
but listen,
Deadpool would be running off after stealing Darth Vader's lightsaber from his belt. And Vader
well,
not
how about
noticing.
and how about Chris Hemsworth? How long before you get Thor to go with Loki, baby?
This drink, I like it.
I know, it's great, right?
Another.
Artisan Thor is what I'm waiting on.
Artisan Thor is coming. Goodness gracious, Ash, always good to have you in here. Jordan Skinner is in here. The brown shipper with the figure also confirmed this from Ahsoka. Okay, well, hey, listen.
It did say like Ahsoka the shorthand for like the one,
Yeah.
for the regular.
They also, I don't know if you guys remember when they made the original Facebook post, they had Revenge of the Sith in there and then stripped it, like updated it and removed it, and it had no where it came from.
Wow, absolutely crazy. Hot Toys Hotline saying Mike Latoris, yes, sir. So listen, we got more to talk about here. We're going to talk about DX. How is the DX34 selling? We've been talking about this Artisan and the Sith version of this, but I'll tell you right now, what's a little bit insane is when you go ahead and you take a look at the DX34. I don't even know what to tell you guys, but this thing, and I think it's right behind. It is literally right behind
I said, it's like
the DX47.
$200.
Yeah, and it's just selling at $1,000 to $1,200. And look, this one just sold, and it looks like a good seller. But let's be honest, guys, only 24 feedback, but 100% positive. And again, as I was talking about, the U.S.
You know what's crazy?
Crazy.
In those BST threads, like Lane was talking about, I've seen more of the dark side up for sale than this one.
Yeah, you know what? I agree. I have noticed that. For sure. Let's go ahead and talk about that. We got so much to talk about. But first, Mr. Lane, before we get ready to show the debut, we maybe want some people in here to comment on this video, on the regular comment, not the chat, right?
Correct. Because, guys, it was a long time ago, but we had originally planned for in May, but we plan to now for the July 4th weekend, basically. We are, or the week before July 4th. We are going to be going through and doing our giveaway for the Selena Kyle Dark Knight trilogy Hot Toys figure.
Let's go, baby.
My personal collection. So what we're going to need you to do is make sure you're subscribed to the channel here. After the stream today, make sure you comment on that. We will be doing giveaway next weekend. Everything running, everything and everybody is running on 100%. But whenever there's the next show, we will be doing the giveaway. You'll need to do both those things to be able to enter it. It will only be for people who are in the United States, though, for just because of shipping and stuff.
That's right. And also, Lane, just real quick. Yeah, of course, put all the questions to Lane, Connor, Chris, myself in the chat. But putting it in the chat doesn't count for this. You actually got a comment on the video. If you want to do it now, that's fine. Because go ahead while you're doing it and saying, hey, okay, great, entered the contest, whatever. Areas are great, areas you suck, whatever you're going to put in there, it's fine. But go ahead while you're doing it. Put the like button, dude. Come on, let's hit the like button. It helps the video as well. So while you're going ahead and doing that, and the plan is to give this away next week, right, Lane?
Correct. And we're really looking forward to doing that. I know we had first talked about it like months ago, but however, any panel member pets are not allowed to enter into
Yeah, well, Steelers hats weren't
No
allowed, but
pets.
here we are.
How about Aaron Rodgers? Can Aaron Rodgers enter
Of
the
course.
contest?
Of
he's going to
course,
have
that's
the
a
Steelers.
that's a
He's
go.
going to have the Steelers
That's-
4-13 by the end of the year.
Yeah, Aaron is a legend.
Blair and Rodgers can enter. Aaron Rodgers cannot.
Lane,
You know what?
about
I'll take my cat away.
what about Artisan Baby Pool? Can he enter?
Yeah.
Ooh, Artisan Baby Pool.
Yeah, I don't know. if you
Listen, I
saw
got
this
I got to play
announcement,
this for
Aries.
Connor now. Connor gets this.
They call him the Wizard.
That was most excellent. But guys,
The
I know
Wizard.
we had originally mentioned that so long ago, and probably a lot of you don't remember it at this point. But we wanted
The
to make you
swoop
aware.
bikes, I remember.
Hey, I'm still waiting for more Book of Boba Fett stuff. Listen, we got a lot to go into. You are watching the season premiere of Ancient Action Figures, season premiere of season 2. Are you guys ready for the new intro? I know you love them. Look, this season 2, it's not going to be like 24 episodes like some of those sitcoms in the past. It's going to be like maybe 8. Maybe I'll be able to do 12. But listen, here's your first one for you. And let's go ahead and start playing it. Make sure I click the right one here. And yeah, let's go ahead and do it. Do I have the right one? I don't want to play the outro. There it is. You guys ready? Let's play it, baby. Hong Kong, a special administrative region of China, is rich in ancient history, and now riddled with new history, mired in mysterious disappearances of people and precious artifacts.
Hong Kong is not only riddled with ancient mysteries from the past, but is a mecca of otherworldly phenomena. Today, what's interesting about all this is some ancient action figure theorists believe that some of these artifacts are in-art and Hot Toys action figures just like this. Some ancient holy texts show these artifacts to be precious.
In Hong Kong, there's a secret base right now, and that facility seems to be attracting these extraterrestrials to our planet.
Is the attraction part of some sacred connection? Does this connection link to a Q system? Are these artifacts so lifelike, these head sculpts so real, that they're actually watching us?
Some do believe they are watching us, like the numbered skulls of old.
The questions surrounding these related mysteries remain unsolved, but will the future soon reveal the truths behind extraterrestrials, their intentions, and their desire for these artifacts? So you do have to ask yourself, are these otherworldly beings keeping track of us by using in-art and Hot Toys action figures as bugs in our collection room? And is this the debut episode of Ancient Action Figures Season 2? And I say, let's go ahead and dive into all of this right now. Yeah. And I wanted to
Getting
put this
the funky
comment
beat,
up.
baby.
The black leather Yankees jacket goes hard. There's the big dog pound. Well, listen, what you're going to do, I'm trying to get the energy to do this without going the other way. But listen, when the Dark Jedi goes raw and live with Ancient Action Figures on you, the debut episode of Ancient Action Figures Season 2 is right now. I am pumped up to be here. Ash says, so they watch us talk about scary. Look, and they're looking so damn good. Television shows, you're way too kind, says best intro ever. Well, look, baby, I don't know if I can top that. I'll have to get some help from these guys here. Sean Beam in the house saying, hello, all. A lot of rolling eyes of fun rolling over, laughing here. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed that. And I hope you guys on the panel enjoyed that too. We like to have a little bit of fun here for sure. For sure. And right off the bat, it's looking like let me go back to me here. Lane, I think I'm getting a text.
Uh-oh.
and now I'm getting a call from someone. Let's pick it up.
From He
Hello?
Who Is a Million Tomorrows.
Yeah, what's up, 13th Skull? Really? Captain Crunch has a question for Lane.
Uh-oh.
Well, Lane is the president of the United States on Earth 35. You're kidding.
I feel bad for that world.
Well, do I have to call Lane Mr. President now? If I was on Earth 35, I'd have to. Oh, really? We're this week, Artisan Luke, Dark Skull. Oh boy. Well, listen, Lane. It looks like we have a question here. I think he said it was from Captain Crunch. So let's go ahead and let's play it.
Well, I am just mad for collecting madness. I am just going insane. It is so good to have you at 6 Scale Cantina, Chris. So I do have to ask you, baby, when it comes to that new Apocalypse, Age of Apocalypse, Wolverine artisan figure, is that going to be it? Or is Hot Toys, whether before or after, around the same time, going to give us yet another artisan Wolverine like they have done with the DX33 Joker, like they have done with the DX34 Anakin? What say you, my friend?
"13th Skull," or maybe I had it confused. Maybe I wasn't hearing him right. I thought it was a message for you. It looks like, Chris, it was a message for you, and something I want to talk about here. While I was out, you know what's kind of funny? I have an interesting story, Chris, about this. I'm going to go ahead and share the screen on this figure that that Captain Crunch asked you about. So I was really bummed out that I wasn't able to get this figure, because do you know, Chris, when this entered the queue, that was the day I was getting my open heart surgery in the morning. So
Wow.
unless I could do it while I'm under anesthesia and my chest is open, there's no way I could have entered the queue. So I asked my lovely wife, Mrs. Tarrington. I said, "Hey, you think you could do this?" She's like, "Yeah, just give me." I said again, "Do it on my phone." And I was thinking, she's not going to go ahead and be able to do this. You know what? I come out of surgery, and sometime that night she says, "Hey, I just want to let you know." And actually, it wasn't this one. It was the. Here's where I'm getting confused, but it was the Obi-Wan, artisan, which we're going to get to. She was able to get me the Obi-Wan artisan, so I was just so pumped up. Because that one went quicker than this, although this one was gone in about 12 hours. But I thought this was a funny story because my wife said, "Hey, I got you that Obi-Wan," and I said, "Oh, I bet you she got me the sculpted one." And she goes, "No, I'm pretty sure I got you that artisan one." And I went and looked at my account, and I was like, "Oh my goodness!" And she said, like, she was like number like 1422 or 1428 or something. And I was like, "Yeah, good job, baby. You're the best." So I was able to get that Obi-Wan. It was like the most exciting thing coming out of that surgery ever. But I was excited about this too. But here's the thing. Are they going to come out? Uh, so they came out with the Joker, and then they give us the Batman imposter. Okay, they come out with the Anakin, and they're giving us a Darth Vader Anakin. You know, they came out with the Clone Wars Obi-Wan, and then they gave us a Mando Obi-Wan. They seem to be on and on and on this thing. Okay, so now you got Wolverine, and they got this awesome head sculpt. I can't wait for the yellow suit, the classic suit one from Deadpool, the Deadpool and Wolverine one that's going to come out, which I think is going to go bonkers in the secondary market. But are we going to get one like that when they put this out, or are they just going to do some artisan work? What is this, 2,000, 2,500 pieces, or call it a day? Or do you think they're going to give us more of these before or after this comes out at the same time?
First off, I want to say that's dedication going right out. I mean, you're awake now. You're like, did we win? Did we get it? Dude.
Did I get the Obi-Wan? Yes, I got
The fact that
hey,
your wife did that, like, props to her. Because if I asked my wife if I was going it, she'd be like so tore up. She'd tell me straight no. But
well,
I'd
listen,
make
that
it
was
like
Space
my
Genius
last
right
dying
there.
wish. I'd be like, I need it.
But, dude, I don't want to spend that Obi-Wan's gonna listen. That you think the Anakins are going high right now? I'm telling you all right now.
People
That
are already trying to
Obi-Wan
put
is
that up.
perfect.
Yeah, I've already seen people putting that pre-order up for like 900 plus.
Yeah, that's gonna go like, I think that's gonna be well over 1,000. And I was like, I do not want to have to go to Toys Buying Agent for that. I just want to pay a normal price. So I was like, thank goodness. But I'm seeing a trend. I'm seeing a trend, Chris, where we're going to talk about some of these where it's looking like, hey, while these artists are doing the implantation technology and tedious with each head sculpt, they're like, hey, let's go ahead and do another 2,500. Let's do somewhere between 6 and 10,000 of these while we're doing it. And I'm guessing they're going to do that with this as well. I'd love to get the classic hairstyle, but what do you think?
As many Wolverines as we've already seen, I definitely think they'll keep using it because, like, there was one point where it was so outdated from the original X-Men that people were just dying and asking for a Wolverine, and Deadpool and Wolverine was like the best thing that could have happened because now we're getting these. And honestly, I thought we'd see more Deadpool variants because of how many there were. Spoiler alert at the end of that film. But the fact that we're getting this, I mean, you still have like Calverine and what was some of the other ones? Was Calverine the one that was the short one, right? Or was
No,
that a
that's
different
comic accurate Wolverine.
Okay, so yeah, like
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many.
Patch.
Now I don't know if they'll do that one, but like the outfit on this one, I make jokes reminded me of like Kane. So whoever's getting it, it's definitely a cool piece for sure. Not for me in my collection, but it's Hugh Jackman. He's the definitive Wolverine. I think they're going to keep using that likeness and squeezing it as much as they can. And like they did, they sculpted Days of Future Past and stuff like that. I think they could go even further and go back if they wanted to and do some the original, like the X-Men stuff or Origins of Wolverine, like stuff like that. So,
well, you're seeing that Uncarded Review says Artisan Series equals Grail. We're going to talk about that. I'm going to move to Cotter here. Patch Charlie says is 200% coming, and then he says brown suit 250% coming. Yeah, I mean, this is kind of exciting because I think a lot of the stuff that in the past that we thought we would never see, Hot Toys would never do it. There's not a chance Howard's doing it. I think he's throwing us curveballs now. Times have changed, outside of COVID. And I think every time that we tell Howard he's not going to do it, he's never going to compete with InArt with rooted hair. And then Howard just goes ahead and does this. Not going to get a dark side Ray, and then Howard's going to do this.
No, unfortunately,
not going to get Bail Organa, Lane. As he keeps doing. Go ahead, Lane.
No, that's the dark side. You just said the dark side Ray thing. I'm sorry, but that would be if the one Howard would only be doing anything sequel trilogy with dark side.
They did
Ray.
Poe.
They just did Poe.
No,
they just did Poe. That's another one I didn't get to talk about.
They probably had lying
some
around
respect.
for 2017.
You got to forget the sequels are some people's favorites, even over the prequel. Just like we were prequel, and then
only time there's a dark side Ray going to come is when whoever the head of Disney is there laughing maniacally because he's going to say you guys as the licensor.
Kathleen Kennedy.
Yeah. Well, laughing maniacally out the way of the door, she gets Disney at the license to say, "Hey, for whatever Joe Blow anniversary or something, we need to figure out that."
Didn't Black Series do her though?
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's replicas of her lightsaber, but it's not really if they're doing it, it's when they're like a matter of when. It doesn't have to be today, but years. I can definitely see them doing it.
Well, and look, Lane, I just pulled this up. I'm at 6scalecantina.com. No, this tab in the menu has not been updated since April, but you can see a lot of these checkpoints, a lot of these checkoffs coming up. We don't even have Commander Wolf in there. It used to be. I should take some off. But, is it possible that everything on here is going to come out? But, yeah, Lane, you were telling me no more sequel. And I'm just saying, Lane, you were wrong. You were wrong. They come out with
They're slept on, bro.
You're listen, Kylo's coming. Let me tell you where they're going to do Dark Side Ray, Lane, in my view. They're going to give us, this is what I think is going to happen. Right now, they're going to give us a Last Jedi Ray with the hair because it's going to be the easiest. Outfit's going to be kicking. It's going to be awesome. It's going to look, incredible. And then they're going to do a little bit about what you guys were all saying, about the DX-47. They're going to give us a dark side Ray, but they're not exactly going to call it Rise of Skywalker. They're not exactly, going to call it that. This is going to be like Darth Nihilus or, Darth Malgus or, Darth Revan or all these crazy ones they're coming out with. Here's a version of Dark Side Ray, an interpretation like that freaking Hayden Christensen. Darth Vader, mythos, imagination. And then they're going to give you an artisan version of the dark side Ray that you can put give it like Sith eyes if you want, telling you it's coming. It's too easy that they could sell that, Lane. Look, they gave us Poe. How do you explain this?
Go.
Come on, Lane. Come on.
They already did a head sculpt for Moon Knight, so they were already on the thing for doing it anyway.
So that means they're going to get the artisan one because they're going to do that and probably put it in this freaking suit. Not this suit, his regular leather jacket that he gave Finn. I could see them doing that next year when they pull that out.
We'll see. I mean, as they've said, because Hot Toy has put out so many of, especially the main Star Wars characters and stuff already at some point, they are having to go towards like a little bit deeper or variant type characters. So as much as I'm sure sequel trilogy still causes Howie to wake up with night sweats sometimes. For all the ones like on your list there, probably the only one there's two that are probably off the board completely.
Okay.
Slave Leia.
Oh.
Also Cara Dune.
No, it's
because
coming.
because the actors sued Disney and all.
Well,
that.
also,
stay tuned to Instagram tonight. This is going to come out. Go ahead.
I was going to say also Jack Nicholson apparently, because Yost, who runs Jazz Inc., he said he reached out to Warner Brothers and Jack Nicholson refused. He won't approve any more figures. I don't know if that's true for every other scale, because I think there was a Mezco like last year or a year and a half
Yeah.
ago of him, but apparently that's the answer that Yost got when he reached out. So yeah, I don't know if that one's like right now. I'm hunting down the DX08 because I'm like, if we never get that one, I'll be real upset because I only have like the third party Mr. J, like the museum look, so I need the purple coat look.
I tell you what, and I'm going to go to the 6 scale market power rankings because this is updated, and we're kind of talking about a little bit of everything here with Hot Toys and in art, but you could see that even on this list of all these new figures, that number 14 is that Jack Nicholson Joker, and not too far behind is the mime version that you're talking about. And this figure continually sells from $500, $600, $700 day after day after day. And can you even imagine if you're right and Yost is right, or whatever the information being spilled out there, that Jack Nicholson isn't doing that? That figure will probably, especially with all the other figures going out, be over $1,000 figure if that word gets out that is it. There was also some conversation about Harrison Ford and Han Solo in the past. Thank God we're getting a new Han Solo. We just got Indiana Jones. Is it possible that we can get a Rise of Skywalker, that they would do an older version of Han Solo from the Rise of Skywalker? The hair, especially there, when he's on the water in Kylo's vision, I think would be perfect and easy for them to do, especially if they're like, hey, we already got this head sculpt. Let's take the hat off, throw some hair on it, put out 2,500, call it a day. Han Solo will sell all day. I actually think this is the kind of stuff that they're doing. I mean, if they're going to do a damn Batman imposter, they might as well take Indiana Jones, take the hat off and throw the hair on it and say, here you go, because this is the kind of stuff that they're doing. But can you even imagine, Connor, this Joker, if it's true, that's it forever?
Oh, yeah. I mean, at that point, of course, third-party companies, they'll eventually step up. But, in an officially licensed capacity, it happens sometimes. Jack Nicholson is very old now. He's out of the game, so to speak. So, it would not. And, to be fair, Yost did say this publicly. Like, he said it on a stream. So there's got to be some truth to it, I would imagine. I don't know if there's some sort of loophole with Hot Toys where they've kept paying for the licensing. I'm not very versed in licensing like some of the other guys are, but I don't know if there's a way where if they've just continued to pay for the license that they had, or maybe they could just reissue this directly. No idea, but yeah, I mean that is crazy. Like I said, it's crazy just to hear it verbalized officially, because there was, like you said, it was like Harrison Ford as well, and we kind of figured Harrison, he started playing nice with Disney. He was in the newer Indiana Jones film, the most recent one, and then Dial Destiny, and then he was in Brave New World as Red Hawk. So, yeah, that's a good sign for any Harrison Ford stuff moving forward, especially, hopefully, potentially some original trilogy indie figures. That would be cool to see, obviously, because a lot of us, of course, got the old one because it's Indiana Jones, but I would love to see some from the original trilogy, one of the original films. So that'd be cool.
Yeah, for sure. And just go to some of these comments here, and there's quite a bit. So I'll try to get to them all. There is also a Dark Side Ray Funko. Yeah, I never even used that one, Pedro. But there's a Gentle Giant Dark Side Ray. There is. Of course, Hasbro, Dark Side Ray. There's a lot of Dark Side Ray. And a lot of times, Hot Toys, you can see that with Darth Revan, Darth Nihilus. They start, following what Hasbro and some of these companies are doing. I feel like it's too easy with Artisan, especially if they can upgrade that one of the Rays. And I think it's going to be the Last Jedi one. But, I also thought the Rise of Skywalker, the Revenge of the Sith Obi-Wan would come before Space Jesus, but whatever. Lane and I were both talking that they may come out with that one first, and they did. But I really do think that they're going to do. I think it's actually in the works, and I think they'll give us a regular version. And I think that different variations. They'll wind up selling anywhere, probably 10,000 of them, which is exactly what's been going on with a lot of these. I want Hoth figures. You want Hoth figures. And let me tell you something, baby. So do I.
Right, I'll see you shortly. There's a meteorite that hit the ground near here. I want to check it out. It won't take long.
Out goes, I need an artisan Wonder Woman. Well, look, that's going to lead me into Big Dog Pound. Kudos to you. Some of the stuff here that I want to talk about, continuing with this, you can see that there's been some shakeup in the secondary market. I'm going to say that the top 8, I'm going to show you this right now if you can see it on the screen. The top 8, Lane, are all wool or rooted hair figures. Number 8 that I see in my studies of the secondary market is the Jack Sparrow figure from Hot Toys, the artisan figure. Number 2, number 7 right now, moving up, especially after some reviews and Justin's collection review on this, because I can't wait to open this up because it looks like Elizabeth Olsen is going to be in my cabinet. Number 7. Number 6, the Batman, I'll show you some stuff, is absolutely killing it because that looks just like the Batman. The realism is unbelievable. This Wonder Woman, it is, I'll bring that up. Big Dog Pound, you brought it up. But this is, for all intents and purposes,
that one in my life. I'm so
oh my God.
I'm still on a wait list for that.
This Gandalf here, the Joker. This
Same.
Joker now, over the last 6 weeks, has just shot up, which I thought that it would. Even, it went up, went a little bit down, and now is just shooting to the moon. We're going to talk about that. Of course, we've already talked about this, and your number 1 figure is the Dark Side Anakin. But Lane, the top 8, see if I could blow it up. They're all freaking rooted hair. So I always hear a lot of arguments, and I get it. Oh, I prefer the sculpted, or this, or some of them like that. But what's selling in the secondary market? They're wanting this rooted hair realism, and I think that they're also wanting the hard to getness of these as well. Now, mind you, they're not limited, the Gandalf and the Batman within art, but they're still really hard to freaking get. Lane, how do you explain this? Are you surprised that the top 8, from my studies anyway, these are the most sought out after figures that people want to buy at the moment?
Well, I'm not surprised, at least, especially with Hot Toys, just because this is the latest, most recent style of line that they've done, just in general, with doing the rooted hair. So it's still a very new thing. Now, 2 or 3 years from now, where they put out I don't know, 30 figures or 40 figures that have rooted hair, probably not quite as much. It's not going to obviously be as big a deal. The moving eyeball system now, because they're in everything. But I mean, like that Gandalf, I'm not surprised because that's an older figure, and I'm putting in quotes, older figure. But that's still awesome. That one on the secondary market still sells for a ton. Even some of the other in-arts figures, rooted hair, are, they sell decently, but a lot of, I've seen Aragorn, he goes retail for the most part, or I've even seen some on BST sell for, shipping wise and everything, about probably what the person paid for it, or a little under. But Gandalf being one of the first in-art figures to actually come out, and came out so well. I mean, he's kind of the start. If you want to do Lord of the Rings, you have to get him. He's a character is you have to own Gandalf in some form or fashion. I'm actually kind of surprised number 9 is actually the She-Hulk. That is the thing actually showing from.
Oh, wait till I show you guys data on the She-Hulk is killing it. And I'll tell you why. It's because they didn't make very many of the She-Hulk. And we're going to go over some of that here, I think, and what's going on. Is it possible? And I'm going to bring this up to Collecting Madness, because Chris has got to go here in a few minutes. But I'm going to ask you a couple of questions here. Is it possible, Chris, I'm going to give you a loaded question, as you see this top 8 all being, rooted hair, that some of the figures, like the Darth Maul 2.0, like the upcoming Terminator 2 T800 battle damage, or the T1000, or even the Padme Attack of the Clones 20th anniversary figure. That some of these figures like that, and She-Hulk and Supergirl, that they're actually, some of them are being less produced than even 4000 DX 33 artisan whatchamacallit, Jokers. And I say in some cases, the answer is yes. I mean, it is so hard to get that Darth Maul. It is so hard to get that Padme. Now, mind you, they're next level. Mind you, they got purrs, they got rolling eyes. But honestly, these were waitlisted very quick. They get up there really. They get up there, and some of these figures like She-Hulk, and some of these other ones, they don't hit the top 3. They're up there for a few weeks, and then there's so much that Hot Toys is coming out with on Sideshow. And then, in a few weeks, they're down number 20, number 25, the next page, number 50. They go on wait list. How many of these are they making? They're sure as hell not making. I could tell you right now, 12, 15,000 of them. So I think that they're limited. And you mentioned about that Wonder Woman. So I know I'm giving you a loaded question here. But here's one that just sold. Okay? On June 13th, U.S. seller, and especially U.S. with the tariffs right now, $1,500 just gone, no best offer. 15. It's new. Mind you, it's new. $1,500 fracking dollars. Chris, go. Tell me.
I'm never going to get a Wonder Woman. Nah.
You are. We're going to get into that. But June 13th, it's sold for $1,500 from Netbone 79.
We talked about that, I think, on Connor's channel when these artisans were first coming out, and we found out that they're like not numbered, and Hot Toys is never going to give us the numbers or their analytics and details on what they do. We saw like the first Mando, how overproduced it was and how many in circulation there are, and then there's other figures like you mentioned trying to find that Darth Maul, and that one's going for a pretty penny, especially like now that they've included with some of them having these exclusive coins and stuff. I knew Connor was going to laugh at that. But it just, there's no telling like how many there are. And that's been a combo that a lot of us have had. And it's very good that you bring it up, because I think it should be talked about more. And like Hot Toys should number these, because they're stating it is, but is it really? And then there could be other figures out there that are less than that one that also could either go for less or go for more, if that makes sense.
Well, and I think you bring up a really good point, because they're not giving you any documentation, and the Gandalf is dynamite, that really I think they're going to move to serialized. Yeah, what's that?
I said, at least to our knowledge, like for all we know, it could be like a barcode on the box that they know about, but we don't, because they don't say anything.
No, it's a little bit crazy, and I'm going to move to Cotter on this at a couple of points, but I know you got to jet a little bit early, we got a little bit more on the show to do, but let's kind of go full screen here. And I just want to tell everybody, listen, Collecting Madness has a great channel. Someone mentioned earlier he had a tremendous review on the DX47 Darth Vader Artisan. We talked about that a lot today. So make sure you subscribe to Collecting Madness and to Chris. But Chris, it's great having you on here. I hope to have you on whenever you can, baby.
Absolutely, man. As long as you send out the invite, I'm going to do my best to be here, and I'll let you know, and we'll keep in talks. I'm glad to see you healthy. Thank you for having me on here again. It's always great streaming with Connor and with this guy who's representing the wrong Pennsylvania, but we still love him.
Go Rogers!
If we haven't caught on yet, I'm not feeling too positive on the Rogers experience.
I've caught on, because you said you're going to basically be puking and eating some Pepto-Bismol in November. Listen, you're going to be like Aries. How come they're 7-0 and 8-0 and 9-0?
I'm going to be just like, God, please, Hot Toys, don't be taking 3 months to get new figures out because I need something to distract me, or at least give me a like art box that I could throw up into or something like that.
Hey, maybe Hot Toys could get an NFL license and we can start getting
Oh,
Aaron
right.
Rodgers figures, and that'd be
I
fun.
still remember that 2022 game. AJ
You know
Brown
what?
in
I
double
can guarantee-
coverage, pointing at both the defenders.
I can guarantee you, even if it was like $400, probably Chris and all the guys who have been on Hot Toys Hotline would like pool their money so they could have to send me one of those for like Christmas or something, and be just like, "Hey, we send you something to enjoy." And then
I tell you, it's crazy.
like Harrison Ford on it.
1,500 for one figure is a bit steep, but 4 Ghostbusters plus Slimer is a steal.
Yeah,
you know, 1,500. But
and those Ghostbusters are gonna double. Look what the 1.0 versions did.
Yeah,
that 100%, 100.
That 4-pack sold out. The special edition 4-pack sold out in less than
like
60
a minute.
seconds.
Yeah,
it was insane. Like, I guess people were a little bit jazzed for it.
Well, Mr. Chris, I appreciate you being on here. Make sure you subscribe to Chris Collecting Madness. Appreciate you, buddy.
Yep. See y'all. 47 in here. Hit that like button, baby.
I hope you get a call for a 13th skull and he gives you good news.
Thank you. See y'all.
Take care, Chris.
See you.
All right. So listen, Connor, I want to show you something because I'm showing you this stuff on the power rankings. We're going over a lot of market stuff. I want to show you this here, and I want to get your perspective. Here is an old Sideshow Gamorrean guard. Now, Hot Toys does not have one yet. So, outstanding seller, 225 feedback. Okay, this sells for $350 essentially. Okay, not including the $50 in shipping. So, $400, not including taxes, well over $400 for a Sideshow Gamorrean guard. People want this in their collection. But you know what used to go for that? And a lot of these troopers as well, like the old 5s, the old Echoes, and this and that. Now you look at them, because Hot Toys comes out with a Mace Windu, and I'm putting this up on the screen, and you sell it for $79 US. $79.
That's at $79.
And 4 cents. So my point is this: is I'm continuing to go on with some of these. Let me give you a little bit more, because when you look at some of these older figures, like this Ahsoka DX21, okay. Now, unfortunately, and the one up here, there was one for $200. And the poor seller, Connor, listed it 15 times. Look at the next auction. You know, when you get the little thing, and no one's buying it even a starting bid for $200. It's almost like he has to let it go. If he started the bid at $50, is it possible that it just sells for about $100? And $10? You're seeing that with Mark 85 not being able to sell more than $200. You're seeing figures like this Cody, okay, which used to sell for $400 or $500. Now you got the new Cody, so now this is just selling for $250. A big deal, but you're seeing figures. And I'm bringing this up. This is interesting because this I feel like started it, and it's not showing me the Arita Fett that sold for $350 on bidding, but an Arita Fett sold today, Cotter, for $350 with some bids, not including taxes, not including shipping, but it was an exclusive, and they're probably not going to come out with that variation again. So are the exclusives, and the fact that even though these aren't serialized, but the fact that they're numbered, does it give them more value on these figures than the figures in the past where they just mass produced them? There wasn't any exclusivity on them, because you're just starting to see a whole bunch of change in the secondary market. So I know it's a loaded question, but go, baby.
Yeah, I think, of course, especially from like a collector's mind and a collector's point of view, when you see a number on the screen or a number on the box, you're like, well, that's got to be the only amount that they've done. Like, that's a pretty exclusive piece. And I think that's probably potentially why, apart from, the wool rooted hair and the added realism and stuff, that's potentially why, I'm a collector where some people are against the limited number stuff. I'm quite the opposite. Like, I enjoy having stuff that I know only a certain amount of people have. And I do believe, like every other company, Hot Toys probably has like some extra copies aside that aren't included in that, like, let's say 1,500 number for replacements. Of course they're going to have that. So, maybe when they make 1,500, maybe they make 1,700, or 1,650, whatever. They're going to make some extra units for replacement parts. I'm sure nowadays maybe it's even less. But yeah, with anything limited, there's always like, you have the numbered stuff, and then there's like an artist proof or whatever, just to be expected, because the amount of stuff that could go wrong with these figures and shipment and things, they're going to have extra units standing by. But with that being said, like, some of these are very interesting, right? Like Supergirl, like that's a figure that I own. I love that figure, but in that line, we had a figure that was canceled that, you've seen that very few times in Hot Toys history, where they've just come out and said, we're canceling this. So, they canceled the Flash figure with like the modified Keaton suit. Mm-hmm. They canceled that Sicarian Iron Man, which for whatever reason, Lane was going to buy that one. And they canceled the Bat Missile. So I'm wondering if like that Supergirl was on the cusp of potentially being canceled, and that's why she's worth so much, because they didn't make that many of them. Because why else would people be paying this much for this Supergirl, and we know we're getting Millie Alcock as Supergirl in the Gunverse, if you will? Well, it's probably because there weren't many of them. Probably weren't many of them at all. So,
well, I think you're seeing like this is in 4 carts, Connor. Yeah. In 4 carts with toys for adults. Forget about it if this sells in the U.S. at $578, with 14 sold. Are you kidding me? So is it possible that what you're saying is right on the money? And I say yes. And I think that's the difference from some of the sideshow figures that are kind of up for a little bit, and the Hot Toys figures of old, and a lot of these are hitting wait lists. And what I like about Lane, some of the exclusivity, like when you talk about the Japan exclusive of the DX47, and I agree with you guys. I think we're going to get a Revenge of the Sith version. I think we're going to get an Ahsoka version. But you know what? We're never going to get that Japan exclusive version again. So whether it's better, whether it's the same, it'll always be limited. Collectors will always go back 5-10 years from now, and that will be limited. And I think that adds some desire and some call to action on these figures as well. And I dare say, I know with this Supergirl Lane, they have some of these that they say are limited, like limited 4,000 to the DX 33 Joker rooted hair. I don't know if this was 4,000 of these. Go, Wayne.
Yeah, there definitely was not on the for the Supergirl that many. And that was also put out a little bit later with the, after the Flash had kind of crashed and burned a little bit too. So, I mean, it's, I think it just what it is, the figure I think came out pretty good. Like most of the figures for the Flash line came out mostly good. Some of them not perfect. Hello, Bat Cycle Batman, or Batflight. But I think the exclusivity, that there are times that I hate it and times that I'm okay with, but even exclusivity hasn't helped necessarily all figures with that. Look at that Miles Morales Prowler one, or Purple Rain one. That one was up for weeks. I don't know if I'm not even sure. Did it finally? I think it finally waitlisted, but it was up for quite a long time.
Even some of the troopers too, like Boss, like he was sitting for a while, and so
he sold out still the same day, but I think he took 3 or 4 hours.
Right. Whereas like the artisan stuff, you know,
Yeah.
like no matter
Well,
what it
the
is, even the
212
Wolverine
was like
sold
the
out pretty
opposite.
quick.
That went super fast. I
Yeah.
think that was gone. But I think now, even for the exclusive figures, it depends what the exclusive figure is as well.
Well,
I
well,
mean, Wolverine took 12 hours or longer for an artisan one to sell out. We've never seen that before. The only one that I think.
well, we did. We saw it with the. Correct me if I'm wrong, Lane or Connor. I think the Joaquin Phoenix Joker took a day. Didn't it take a little longer, that one?
That one in particular, I don't remember. I don't know how long that one took. I mean,
But
potentially maybe because the in-art offerings were already shown prior, and they also had a sculpted version. It may have taken
And
longer.
the Black Widow one last summer took a while, but that's because there was like
2 hours.
Stuff.
Yeah, I was actually able to get the non-special deluxe one on that one. I got the one without the Iron Man gauntlet.
One where there's going to be less of them.
Yeah, the one that's more rare.
SKUs.
the one that's more rare. But
well,
you know, here's an interesting.
Yeah, but that's the same. But that is that's the same kind of logic that like Prime One usually has with a lot of their statues. Whatever, there's usually like, you know, a regular bonus, deluxe, or whatever, and then there's a regular edition that doesn't come with all extra stuff. The regular edition ESs are usually really small. Like they're usually like, for instance, statue I got from them, the deluxe version, which was not deluxe bonus, which had something different, but deluxe bonus had like 100 and something version of the statue made. Only 25 were made of the regular edition, but that's kind of a similar thing. But
no,
what
that
probably
that
are
is
going to be after later is going to be the deluxe, you know, the one with the extra Iron Man gauntlet.
Let me give a shout out here, guys, to MGF Customs. With the $5 bomb, says, awesome to see you back on here. And just as bright, Aries, glad you seem to be doing okay. You know, we're on the road to recovery. I definitely want to thank God, thank the Lord for that, and all the support of my family and everyone. It was definitely, 9 days in the hospital is a long time for someone who's a free bird like me. And I'm used to getting a lot of things done, but I love collecting. And, again, rewatch this. I told a little bit of the story of some of the things that are happening. And listen, for any of you that want even more of the story in depth of what happened, and a little bit, and we're talking about it here, and I think you're figuring out why I'm selling some of the older figures that I have that I think are going to be 2.0'd. I was able to put out, it's been about 6 weeks, a special insiders today, about a 26-minute show. So all you insiders that are out there, appreciate your support. You got a brand new episode today, and any of you are looking to join in, I'm going to be throwing a bunch on there, and I appreciate your support and thank you for this. But Connor, I want to move to you with this, because this is my point on when things come out where there's so many of one character and so many variations, but it could still hold their value in the future because they're exclusive. So, and this one had 8 bids, and a lot of times they sell less because the feedback is low, but it's still sold for $710. But let me give you even more before you respond, because each week over the last month, I'm seeing them go up. At the end of May, this was starting to go up. You see $750 for a DX33 AE. And now, as I'm looking now, over the last couple of weeks, this is just starting to, and I thought that it would. They're just starting to jump up in price on these figures, and you can see here, $961.52 sold. Shop of Brian, 99.5% positive. We have 9,736 feedback. Already one sold. You already have the in-art one. You have the old ones. You have one from J&D. Does this kind of prove my point that perhaps because of the exclusivity and the fact that this thing is damn good, that these are going to hold their value in the years to come?
Yeah, the artisan stuff generally speaking, all of it, sells a bit over retail, which, is refreshing to see because, the past few years have not been kind to quite a lot of these figures. You buy them and then immediately you break the seal and you're like, well, see you later, $60. You know what I mean? So it's nice to see, not, and there's always the argument of like, well, I'm never going to sell anything, or I don't collect for value. And it's like, well, no, of course, at the end of the day, if most collectors, they collect because they like the character and they want a representation of that character because it means something to them. But on the same time, it could also mean something to you that the money you spent isn't going to disappear into thin air as soon as you open it and put it on your shelf.
You're what I mean? Hitting it. Preach. No, talk about that. That's exactly it.
Yeah. So, and I don't want to speak for anybody, but there are people out there that feel it's silly to talk about wanting a figure that you own to have the value preserved. And I know like a lot of people say like, it's not an investment. And it's like, I don't think everybody is looking at it that way. You're just looking at it like, hey, I spent $450 on this. If something bad happens and I have to sell some of my stuff, it'd be nice to know that I could get that back. And there's nothing wrong with that at all. Like, look at you, Aries, you had a traumatic, horrible thing happen to you. And, maybe you could have used a little extra money. And if you have something that you spent money on, if you could get that back and then some, that's a great feeling. That's a good feeling to know that, what you spent on that figure, you can get back. So yes, it's not all about, preserving the value of stuff, but it's nice to see.
You're bringing up a really good point, and I'd like to piggyback off that because I don't collect any of these for an investment. I've got the DX33. I've got the DX39. I've got all the Artisans so far, basically, except for the Artisan Imposter Joker, because when I got the regular deluxe, I was fine with just that. But I'm not buying it to invest in. I am buying it because I enjoy them. I've got Padme as well with the rolling eyes. I've got the new Darth Maul. I'm going to be getting the new Wolverine from Deadpool and Wolverine that has the classic, yellow and blue suit that he wore in the movie, albeit he's older in there. But, the thing of it is, I want to hold, Connor, my value. I don't want to spend $300, $400, or let's go up now, $500, $600, $700 on something, even though I'm not investing in it. That's going to sink in value like that Mace Windu and sell for $79, or that Iron Man that you spend almost $500 on, the Mark 85, battle damage or not.
A lot of those,
and then
Iron
you can't
Man
sell it
figures
on freaking eBay with the fees. You guys talk about Facebook posts. Who's going to buy that for $300? No one. It sucks. Even though I'm not investing in it, I want it to retain its value. I'm not buying a freaking car. So I think you bring up a good point.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the Iron Man's a great point, too. Like, look at the Mark V diecast. It sells for like $200. The Mark 85 clean.
I saw someone sell that armor up Silver Centurion, that was at the time one of maybe the most expensive.
One of the most expensive ones they've done.
Yeah, $495. I saw someone sell it for $180.
Yeah, see,
because
and it
you just
sucks,
can't
man.
Sell
But
it.
like the newer ones, like it seems like they're a bit more sought after. So like the Mark 6 is selling for a ton, the Mark 3 is selling for a ton. But a lot of those older ones, like the Mark 1, the Mark 5, and really not that old, they sell for half of what they retailed for because those die-cast figures, they're not cheap.
Or sometimes where it falls with the lines for stuff, the what if figures, those ones. I mean, I saw someone had to sell that $450 Ultron for like $175.
Yeah, and the Hydra Stomper and stuff, they don't sell for much. Yeah.
No. And I just want to shout out to Griffin Campbell here. I appreciate all you guys with the super chats and stuff tonight. With the $5 bomb, is it possible that the Hot Toys Wizard can take the form of an alligator? Well, look, I take the form of a lot of these guys. I think the question is, can I take the form of this guy here? With Grogu, baby. Griffin, thank you so much for the $5 drop. And I want to get into this guy. So here's the thing. I showed you that all the rooted hair figures. And I got a question, Lane, let's go to you here. Gandalf, like the Wonder Woman, both of those figures. We look at these prices, and I see it in the U.S. selling for the Wonder Woman $1,000, $1,200, $1,300. These prices here all day long, and but there's some in art figures like some artisans that aren't all the way here yet. Um, but I mean, the realism. I mean, between you and me, Lane, thank God they didn't make this with sculpted because I think it wouldn't have done it justice. I mean, I keep imagining the
Yeah.
nightmare of the Aquaman
Now it
hair
will
sculpt.
be interesting to see what happens to this if they ever put out Gandalf the White.
Well, do you really think it would affect this? Because this is Gandalf the Gray. So don't you need them both? Won't it be? Do you think it'll be like the DX34 versus the DX47, or do you think not?
I think it'll affect the Gandalf a little bit. Not, I mean,
It probably
not a
will.
ton, not a ton, but probably a little. You'll see some of the pricing come down, probably a couple $100. But I mean, this. I still think also this Gandalf is like it's part of the thing, but man, there are a lot of them up there. That's a lot of Gandalfs for sale. But I think also
it is. You do have more Gandalfs. If I put up the Gal Gadot Wonder Woman WB100, it's going to be less. If I put up the Darth Maul right now, what is that? The MMS 748, even the speeder bike or not, it's going to have a lot less. But I don't know. I mean, Connor, are these just hard to get in, or this is just a going rate? Now, I before you answer that, I'm going to bring this up. Let's bring up another in art as we compare, because in art, the Batman is another one that's selling very much, a lot like the artisan Jack Sparrow, the artisan Scarlet Witch. Those figures you can see right here in 2 carts for $750, and it's consistently selling $700 to even $900, $1,000. I see on this the bat. I mean, it looks just like the Batman, but then I can't explain this, and it's the same thing with some other figures as well, because when you actually go to the Dune figure, seems to be going down. There's not. I don't know if it's because of the movie, but nowhere near as much. But I think it's just as good as the Batman. So it's kind of hard to put your finger on it.
So I guess I'll take this in a case by case basis. When it comes to the Batman, I think the reason that one is selling for so much and like slowly going up is because the second film with the delays and everything. I think a lot of people have probably come to the realization that, hey, this is the one I need to get because I'm not going to wait for the next film, because if they keep pushing it back, I'm never going to get a Pattinson Batman figure. So I think with that one, I think a lot of people kind of came to that realization. And, that kind of somewhat for me too. I ended up getting the 2022 Jazz Inc. Batmobile, and part of me was like, oh, maybe I'll see if Hot Toys eventually announces it. And then with all the delays and stuff, and, it's continuously been delayed and things like that, I think that's part of the reason why a lot of people are probably going for those in art, the Batman rooted figures, especially. With Paul, I heard that they sold an absolute crap ton of these, like one
Oversaturated then.
Yeah, one of the best sells for them out of all the figures, because the Harry Potter figures, they're on record saying they don't sell for crap, and like Pennywise, he didn't sell for crap, and that's why he sells for so much. But they sold a crap ton of these Pauls. They made a great decision to make this figure. The second film, was right around the time this figure went up, and obviously it was a fantastic film. I have this figure in my collection, the rooted hair version. It's a great figure, one of their best. But yeah, I think it's just a matter of there's more of these out there, believe it or not, than the Batman. Because you got to remember also, we also have the Hot Toys Batman, and a lot of people had already pre-ordered that before InArt even announced theirs, and then InArt came in, and maybe they swayed some of us, because I ended up selling my Hot Toys set and got the InArt, but you have more options, and yes, you have the Og Toys Paul Atreides as well, but yeah, I think that's at least for those two particular figures, I think that's why the pricing is moving the way that it's moving, but. Yeah, I expect all of the Pattinson, the Batman stuff to slowly go up, because, who's going to wait for the second film when we don't have a date yet and there's been multiple delays and, rumors about Matt Reeves' script and everything. So I imagine this one's going to be a hot seller for quite a while, and it's just going to keep going up. And I don't know if there's ever a point where you could say, oh, I would wait and see if this happens, just because, all those delays. When are you going to see another figure of him? You know what I mean?
No, really, really good points on this stuff. And I think, again, when you take a look at, what is in demand right now, and when you take a look at even going back to 6scalecantina.com, and again, a lot of it's updated, but not most of it. Go ahead and please bookmark it. But when you go to the 6 scale market power rankings, again, this isn't what figure is the best. It's the figures that are generating the most pull for demand right now, which is a far cry from what the best is. You could see that the top 8, all the top 8s are just rooted versions, whether it's in art. That Batman that you were just talking about, Connor, is in there. We were just talking about Gandalf. You're seeing some of the other figures. And I think the exclusivity, the hard to get, a lot of collectors are moving, towards these. It's real interesting. And a lot of these figures that, they're not making a whole lot of, that seem to go on wait list very, very quickly. Even this Vader, which I think, here's the thing. I talk about figures that don't stay at a top 5 a whole lot. This actually did stay at the top 5 and was number 1 for many, many weeks. It's still waitlisted when it came out, but this is the best Return of the Jedi Darth Vader. It's even better than the quarter scale one that you're going to get, and I think that's why. But when you look at where this is selling between $400 and $500 and $100, $150, sometimes $200 over retail, you're seeing some of the figures that they're going to be coming out with, and certainly a red alert on the Mythos kind of unleashed version that's up there. Everything's kind of waitlisted except one. That's going to be waitlisted, I believe, very soon, and it's going to be a lot less made than this. You have to wonder where that's going to go with some of these figures for sure. But yeah, it's absolutely crazy with some of this stuff. I'm trying to move this off the screen here, but it's real interesting. And how many versions of Darth Vader did we wind up getting? Once they put out, though, that they got that Hayden Christensen license for sure. It's just absolutely insane. There we go. I'll just kind of refresh this, and again, I will go to the home screen here, 6scalecantina.com. And, here's the show we're talking about, and here's where we're going to end with. We're going to end quickly here, but stay tuned. Again, new members exclusive. I'll kind of blow this up. I uploaded this today. Health update and why I'm selling some older figures. Are future releases worth more? Kind of like what Chris and I and Connor and Lane have talked about here today. Just uploaded today. Coming back. Go ahead, members, and check that out. If you want to join the channel, appreciate your support. That was just uploaded today, and you'll get some juicy information. But I want to end with this, guys. What's on the banner? Because we were talking a lot about this, and I have a take on not only the Black Widow, which I think is going to be coming out any day, but this Dark Empire Luke. And Connor, I'm going to go to you first with this. You seen what happened with the Batman imposter Joker with the DX33. You saw what just happened with the Anakin. Forget about other stuff like the Clone Wars Obi-Wan that's not Artisan. They're going to be taking the time to have artists do 3,000 rooted hair. I doesn't seem like they stop. It seems like the number's around 5, 6, 7,000 that they want to do at a time. I'll be honest with you. This takes place, this Dark Empire Luke, 5 years after Return of the Jedi. And I took a picture, an image of Luke from Disney with Grogu from The Mandalorian. It's eerie how close these look and how much the hair is similar. They've almost got to be insane not to throw a Luke out there. I'd love to see a Return of the Jedi one. But
Yeah.
I really think for me, they're giving me all the evidence. I'm not guaranteeing it, but here's the thing I am doing. Do you know that I am so convinced that this is coming out, Connor, that I'm saving for this because I just don't believe I have to budget for an extra Luke. There's no fracking way, in my view, that they're not going to do it with what they're doing. And I don't want to miss out on Luke and then have to spend $1,000 if it turns out being a Return of the Jedi Luke that looks like this. I'm just not going to miss out on it. So I'm actually saving and hoping I get into the queue. That's how convinced I am they're going to come. But doesn't that look eerily similar? It's almost too easy.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely does. And I've kind of been saying this for a while. I was surprised to not see a new Luke for the Return of the Jedi anniversary recently. The most recent Return of the Jedi Luke they did was the deluxe version, with the goggles and everything. And I do think that's probably on their table. Of course, a lot of these big characters, they're going to look at potentially doing an Artisan, because the point I always make about Artisan and why Hot Toys is enjoying pumping these out is because it's instant cash flow. They know that regardless of whether it takes 2 hours or 30 minutes, it's going to sell out, and they're going to get that money for another project instantly. So, yeah, I certainly think in the near future we're going to see a new Return of the Jedi Luke, and potentially it will be Artisan, because why would they do a Dark Empire version Artisan and not a Return of the Jedi? You know what I mean? A much more sought after version, which most people are more familiar with, because it's from the film. So yeah.
Well,
absolutely.
I almost feel like Connor, you bring up a good point, and Lane, I almost feel like that they flipped it. That they full know that they're doing a Jedi or a Mandalorian, or maybe both. They know they're going to put it out, but they're like, you know what? We're gonna, maybe it's they were waiting for Disney to put out the hype for the Mandalorian and Grogu, which there's hype now. You're hearing a lot that Star Wars is back, but before they did that, it was kind of like, Mando. I'm kind of done with Mando. I don't want to hear about CGI Luke, and maybe their marketing told them, you're not going to get a whole lot of buzz. Why are we getting that? Give them a Dark Empire Luke. That's going to get people excited, like Darth Nihilus, like Darth Malgus, like Darth Revan. Shall I go on? So I thought it was brilliant. If that was their marketing strategy, it's fantastic. And then they're like, you know what? And then now we got the Mando and Grogu coming out. Throw this out, because they can certainly. How do you not sell 2,000 of Luke anything like this? I just don't see how they don't do this, Lane.
I mean, like you say, anything's possible, and especially with kind of like what they did with the Anakin. Obviously different facial sculpt, but same rooted hair process, the whole thing. That they had those up and get ready to go in a short period of time. It's not crazy to think that for an anniversary or just whatever. I mean, they'll put a 2000 exclusive out because it's Tuesday, at this point. But I mean, I could definitely see them doing something like that. What I would say is, if they're going to do something like, kind of expanded universe-esque, like they did with this Dark Empire Luke, man, if you're going to do a DX with rooted hair, just do Return / maybe, Heir to the Empire for Luke, if they want to use some kind of like Legends tab or something for it, kind of like this with Mara Jade.
Oh, you know what?
Because Black Series has done multiple, like recently had done, now I know trying to compare Black Series with Hot Toys, that's like eggs, apples and oranges a little bit there. But
wait, say her name one more time, because I love the way
Mara
it sounds.
Jade.
They call him the Wizard.
If with her by herself wouldn't necessarily be a figure, but if they did something like the old school too, like a very limited, maybe even like maybe 1,000, like Luke and her together in a 2-pack kind of DX type figure or deluxe, like those would sell out instantly.
Well, just like you're seeing the 2-pack in art does of the Joker, their
Yeah.
Joker they came out with. We were just talking about
Or
the
they
the
had the
freaking the Batman.
They-
I'm just gonna say, not to go off the subject, but are we gonna get a Han artisan with a Chewbacca and a 2-pack, and they're gonna go like get art, and it's gonna be $1,000 or
Or
$1,100?
could they do maybe that's how you finally get how you get the Leia, an actual
Oh.
Leia, like a New Hope hand artisan figure with leather, not pleather, with or whatever fox leather they seem to be using now. That
Or
is better than the old
what was the new Spider-Man, that goofy Spider-Man they just announced? What was the material? Stretchable something?
Yeah, or something like stretchable boots, man. Stretchable boots.
I don't know how they worded it, but it had some
Yeah,
material
but
that they've never talked about
Imagine,
before.
I mean, that's what the fun of this with Hot Toys is, because Hot Toys has started to put out so many wonkier, like very more obscure, connected, versions of characters and stuff. Is you can kind of go like, hey, if you guys are trying to do this, but maybe in a financially sensible kind of way, artisan Leia and hand together. Maybe it's a little bit more expensive. Brother Cousins.
Well, is that Brother Cousins, or is it the Space Pimp on the debut season 2, premiere of Ancient Action Figures? And again, for everybody who's watching, if you missed the premiere, stay tuned, because for closing the show today, instead of doing the outro, I'll replay it again so you don't got to go back and rewatch the show. So I'll tell you that when I close the show tonight, I will just replay the season 2 premiere of that so you could see it. But the Space Pimp, listen, I don't know if you're the Space Pimp, Brother Cousins. I know you're a good friend of mine, but I just want to say this to you. Just got to jump right into it. This is scary looking. They're both 5 years, 6 years after Return of the Jedi. I told everybody here, I told Connor, I told Lane, everyone in the chat, I'm actually budgeting for this. I just don't see how they're not going to throw this on me. And I don't want to spend $1,000 or $1,500 at Toys Buying Agent. Whether it's a Jedi or this, it's too easy. And I don't think they're going to take the time with these individual artists doing the rooted hair and just stop at $3,500. I just think they'll give another $2,500 or $1,500, because there's a trend I'm noticing with the Anakin when they rooted it. It was like what, 33,000 plus 25, 5,500. With the Joker, you got the imposter version, 3,000 plus 4 at 7,000. You got, let's look at the Black Widow, because I'm going to talk about her. That's 6,000 altogether. Is that one over? I just don't think that they stop at 3,500. But this is too easy, Jay.
It's way too easy. It's going to be, with this, they're actually going to give us another one. It's going to be, anywhere you see the artisans and the way that they do it, it's too easy for them to make money. It really is. I already know what's going to happen. Soon as this Dark Empire Luke pops out, what's going to happen? Soon as we get it, soon as they announce it, they're going to do another exclusive, and you're going to get, either it's going to be the exclusive Luke from Mandalorian, which I don't think they're going to do that one. I don't, because that's sold, and I think Mandalorian right now they're going to wait for the movies before they do that. But we will get yet another version of the Return of the Jedi.
I really hope it's the Return of the Jedi.
Yeah, artisan edition. You're going to get it. Oh, absolutely. You're going to absolutely. And I gotta say, damn, this damn Scarlett Johansson right here. This damn Black Widow looks phenomenal. I can't wait for that.
Well, listen, and here's the thing, and we'll stick with you, Jay. And I put her on here because I'm getting some information from the 13th Skull, Dr. Wonder, one of these guys,
shit.
all these guys.
Shit. Oh, shit.
That the Black Widow is coming and the Lukes are coming, but I have a theory. on this Black Widow. I pulled her up on the screen. Is it possible, unlike the Joker, unlike the Anakin, unlike the Luke, unlike the Obi-Wan Clone Wars, when it comes to rooted hair, that 6,000 is what you're going to get? And I say, yes, I'm actually not budgeting for an extra. I think that they purposely did this and said, you know what? We're going to do 6,000 because that's about, like I said, 7,000 of the Joker, 5,500 of Anakin. I feel like, they could throw me for a loop and do 4,000 of a different one, give you, and then all of a sudden, like the Black Widow, movie or something close to here. But I actually think this is it on her for this one here, what is this Iron Man 2. So what do you think of it?
What do I think about it? That they'll make more.
That they won't make more. That this is it. 2,000 and 4,000. I don't think they will.
I'm sorry.
For this batch.
This for the Black Widow.
Yeah. I think that 6,000. They're all rooted. Yeah. And I think that's around the number that they have the artists that they probably budget to do this. Yeah. Now I'm not saying they won't do sculpted though. They may throw that at you, but I don't think they're gonna root anymore.
Charlie is reading my mind because I think the next one up is the 2012 Avengers version, with that hairstyle, and they could use the same damn sculpt, and the suit ain't that much different. So I really see them doing that, and I think
will they do it at the same time? That how many do you think they would do? So let's say you're right, because I feel like if they're gonna do it, why not do it now? So, okay.
She does
how much of that would they do?
She does very well. That's the thing. They made a lot of damn Black Widows and they sold a lot of them. But we got to look at it what it is. That was at peak Marvel time. You know what I'm saying? So for today, because that is the Avengers look, and that Avengers movie is very popular. I mean, they still make figures from that Avenger line. If you look at, as of recent, you look at that Iron Man that just with him flying through the sky and the armor the Mark 7 armor forming around him. We just got that, so they're still making Avengers, original Avengers figures. So I can see them doing a larger quantity, probably around 4. It would be nice if they do 4,000, but just to make it interesting,
that would be 10 grand. That'd be 10,000 of them.
Yeah, but to make it interesting and to piss us off and to have everybody go crazy in the community, they'll probably do 25. They'll probably do 25,000, or because let's be fair, it is a popular look for her, a very iconic look for her. So I say they'll probably be generous and do about 3 to 3,500.
Wow, you know what? You're convincing me. So let me ask you this before I go to Lane and then go to Connor. Would you buy both versions of this, or would you go like you did, unless you bought it, like the DX3447, just go one or the other?
Oh, I need both of them because I love this look right here. I love this look right here. They already got me. This is already, this is already coming. I was able to obtain this one. So
did you get the Wolverine Apocalypse one?
I got the Wolverine. Yep.
Yeah, got that one as well. Wow, so they're gonna get you.
That one as well. All right. So yeah, they got me.
So Lane, would you get this Black Widow A or B? Would you get them both if they do this?
Oh, I'm just going to get the one that I've currently got on pre-order, which is the Iron Man 2 one. But I'm getting this to go with as part of my Iron Man collection, not my Avengers. That's why I decided to get it. So this is the one that I always wanted. So I would not get Avengers Black Widow.
This one, I would get the shorter hair version from Endgame. I would probably get that one, but I'm not going to get every one of her. It's kind of like Loki, Connor. I'd probably get the God Loki. I don't know if I would. I know they're going to do probably 6-7 different artisan versions of Loki. I think that's a character I could do one with. I think with Black Widow, the different hairstyles, but if it's very similar, I only need one. But what do you think about this?
Dude, I've been cutting down a lot of my Marvel, and then I like think to myself, what would I not get rid of? What would I, focus my Marvel on? And I always come back to the Sam Raimi trilogy stuff, Across the Spider-Verse / Into the Spider-Verse, because I love those films. and then 2012 Avengers. So I'm not gonna lie, like Jay said, like this fit is pretty similar. But, that short hair look, that's like the iconic, like, the introduction of Black Widow and the 2012 Avengers, like we all know and love. And it's Scarlett Johansson. So I'm like, yeah, I would get it. And I'd like to say that I would sell this one, but I probably wouldn't. It's just one of those characters. Like, she's an OG Avenger. I would want both for sure. Now, if they did like an Infinity War one, they can keep that because I don't like that look. Like the blonde hair, no shot. I'm not into that. But yeah, 2012 Avengers won't be sick, man. I'm really hoping at the very least Hot Toys goes through and does the OG 5 and call it a day. I'm happy with that. But yeah, for sure.
Yeah, no, it's really good stuff. And shout out here to Anthony, the 6 Scale Mafia. So good to have you in here, bud. And I haven't talked in a long time. Miss you. Hey, bud. Hope you were doing well. We ain't got time to bleed. So, Anthony, that's good. I'm totally with you, brother. We don't. We don't. I need to look. I mean, maybe I was having too much of this, which is why I needed it.
You're delicious. Ciao, boys.
Makes me that one pizza, I swear.
Never again, yeah.
for 20 minutes. Just for 20 minutes. Just for 20 minutes.
Oh, but it was definitely a crazy time. I'll give you all just a little, if you watched a membership video, you'll know the story. But what happened is I actually got, I have a few heart stents, but I got one in November of last year. And the reason why this was very interesting is they just went in with a cath, they put in the stent, everything's fine. So I'm feeling kind of a similar thing back 6 weeks ago or whatever it was. And it didn't make any sense. Well, that stent failed. Is what happened, and that's why they had to go in and they found some other stuff. But thank goodness, watching what I eat, watching the sugar and all that, and being taken care of from the family, doing really well and enjoying a lot of the stuff like this. So really appreciate you stopping by here, Mafia, and checking it out. And let's see. I gotta play another clip, and I want to play this one again. I played it earlier for Mafia and everybody because we're talking about artisans, but I'm just saying, I heard from the 13th Skull to go with Loki and the Avengers. It's coming very quickly.
This drink, I like it.
I know, it's great, right?
Another.
You know what I started thinking about, Jay? When I saw the Wolverine with that hair, the Apocalypse version, I immediately started thinking of Jason Momoa and Aquaman and Thor. Because I'm like, listen, I don't know if Thor was, maybe he was, but I think Aquaman is one of your top 10 of what's coming, right? I don't know. Yeah.
I think Thor was. Yeah. Thor from Avengers. Yep.
I mean, I'm a little surprised they did Loki before Thor, but he did have the show. But I would be stunned if both of those are not 2025 pre-orders. What do you think?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I would say by Summer Showcase. I'm gonna go ahead and put that right there. I think, yeah, those are coming. Those are coming. If not by Summer Showcase, by the fall, for real, or by the end of this year. We're definitely gonna get that. That's gonna happen. So, especially the Aquaman, we need it because the Aquaman shit
is so bad, man.
Oh, you ain't never lied. Oh god, it's terrible. It's terrible. It is terrible. They need to update on that.
I keep looking at it on my display, and I'm like, should I get rid of it? And I'm like, I don't know. I really want a representation of them, but dude,
yeah.
It's
I mean, I think
Qui-Gon's the same way. That hair is so stiff, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Well, you know what's interesting, and who put this up, Lobo or Aquaman? Charlie. And here's what's interesting: we got the villain from the latest Aquaman movie, and we didn't get Aquaman. But is it possible it's because they really know that they're making the Artisan one and they want to get it right? And I think so. And when I saw, because doesn't the Apocalypse Wolverine, isn't that the beard?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got the chops. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because you
Rude
can't do
chop.
Aquaman without it.
I agree.
Or Thor. I will tell you where this works. And I was very happy to see it. And I'll tell you, until someone told me, let's see if I have it up over here, that the artisan Obi-Wan, and I told everybody the story earlier about that. Plus, Jay got me one because I wasn't expecting, hopefully my wife isn't watching, that she was going to be able to go into the queue. She shocked the hell out of me and she was able to get it. And I really didn't think she was. But man, she's probably better. I probably have her all pre-order these for me than myself. But Jay got me one too. But I don't mind having two of them with that figure. I'm just so stoked. But honestly, the sculpted on the Space Jesus, it works, Jay. And I'm going to try and pull it up as I pull it up here, but you can certainly just give me your thoughts on it. There's the Loki, which I can't wait to get.
Yeah,
but that freaking Obi-Wan, you don't need it. Until someone pointed out to me, I forgot, maybe it was you, Lane, in the freaking Facebook chat when we were chatting. But you said, "Hey Aries, the beard on the Obi-Wan is sculpted," and I had to look because I just didn't. They, in my view, this is my opinion. I to me that's an amazing job because I don't think you need it on this one. But Jay, your thoughts?
Oh, I thought you was, I was waiting on Wayne. Man, I love it. I think it looks. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, I'm sorry. My guy Bob Dylan knows we're part of the rooted hair revolution. So I'm like rooted hair on everything at this point. That's just what I like the rooted hair. I think it looks better in my opinion. But then Layel says something that made a lot of sense too, especially with this set right here. Everybody else is going to have sculpted hair. And then, you know what I'm saying? So it's like that kind of breaks it up a little bit. So, to say that, I just think that you can't go wrong with either one, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? As if it seemed for this release right here, people were able to get it. I didn't hear too many rumblings in the community where people were like upset. I think this is where Sideshow really mastered their queue. They gave us an updated queue. With the little guy walking and everything, and they have the little questions. They did it. I think this whole experience turned out to be a better experience for people that were going for the artisan, and then for the people that weren't going for the artisan, they have a good looking sculpted figure as well. So, but just for me, I prefer the rooted, and I like the exclusivity. I can't lie. I mean, that's just
Me too.
Yeah,
well,
I mean that's part of it. That's part of it. So.
No, great, Jay. And Lane, I don't know if it was you or maybe somebody else, but I didn't notice the beard was sculpted until someone told me. I think that's a good job because I didn't notice it.
Yeah, well, I noticed it right away. But the only reason I was noticing those is I remember when the maker of the Star Trek figures, they did Commander Crude from Star Trek 3. The Christopher Lloyd Klingon, X06. The Christopher Lloyd Klingon. His hair was rooted, or was in theory rooted hair, but his goatee facial hair on his face was sculpted, and it was really noticeable, like very noticeable right off the bat. It did not look that great. So I noticed with the Obi-Wan because I was like, are they going to actually do that on the face? And they did it. I didn't really like the rooted hair with the sculpted facial hair. To me, I noticed it too much. So, and admittedly, I had Obi-Wan, like I could have bought him, but I just didn't get him because I just decided if I was going to get him, I would get the sculpted version. That's just, I thought that one to me looked better. And I know, Cousins, you kind of talked about it where I did, but that's not a bad thing.
There you
go. A lot of times it seems to be, Commander Cruise, that I think we get sometimes too much that for sometimes when there's two different versions, that the sculpted's the top automatic list, and then the sculpted one's junk in comparison. I think there's too much of that. I think both those Obi-Wans are going to look great for what they're doing with them. I don't think necessarily rooted hair makes every character automatically better than if they did a sculpted version. I think it really depends on the character, and sometimes it just depends on how the final. Like, I honestly think the Jack Sparrow. Now his hair is a little bit different with his. You're muted, brother cousins. If you were.
Oh no, I was just.
Okay.
No, I won't say no.
I just think like Sparrows. Now he's not exactly the same thing because his hair is kind of done a little bit different, differently with how his is done. But I think the Sparrow rooted and the Sparrow actually sculpted hair look almost exactly the same. Like they, I think, look equally as good as each other.
You know what's interesting? And not to change the subject as we end here, but when you bring up the Jack Sparrow, and I'm looking at it right here, the DX. Oh, what is it? 39? I get confused with all these numbers.
Something like that.
There are too many DX numbers at this point.
Yeah.
But I when I look at the intricacy of that rooted hair, and I'll say this to you guys because I was thinking about it, because I was like, nah, they're not going to do Ming-Na Wen, Fennec, and then I'm like, wait a minute. I was looking at the Jack Sparrow and I was seeing the intricacy of the braids, and I'm like, they could do that. They could give us a rooted Fennec. They have the head sculpt. They came out with it. It is waitlisted. They can use the same because that head sculpt is fire, guys.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if they were just like, we're going to keep the same one. We're going to give you Purse, and we're going to do Jack Sparrow, and we're just going to do an exclusive 2,500 of her. I would lose my crap on something like that because Jay, you brought up about She-Hulk. I brought up about She-Hulk. I brought up about Supergirl. You brought it up. I could see them using those same head sculpts because they're giving me evidence from the trends, and they could be like, hey, we already have this mold. Okay, probably doesn't pay for us to. Actually, I think it does, the way She-Hulk's moving. But could you even imagine what people are paying for these? Because we talked about it earlier in the show, this crew here. If they did a rooted She-Hulk, a rooted Fennec, a rooted Supergirl, oh my God. And they gave you, I would be all over that Fennec. That would be like insanity to me.
I don't think they would do Fennec. Only reason because I think the Fennec was pretty good that they already
so good.
They gave us. It's already.
Well, that's my point though. They wouldn't have to change it. They could just
say,
okay, we're gonna root it. Let's read and put rolling eyes.
But I think, don't you think that would also kind of like that's a little bit like them kind of jumping the shark a little bit? Because I mean, I think some people, there's a lot of people out there in the community right now that kind of feel that the whole artisan thing right now is getting a little out of hand. So I think for a release like that, for them to do Fennec would be a little too much. Even if it is limited, it still would be a little. Some people would eat it up, but for the most part, it'd be like I think some people would be. I think a lot of collectors would be a little like this is becoming too redundant. Whereas now for the She-Hulk, that's Hot Toys. Hot Toys is now doing things just to test their own skills out and want to go back and revisit things that they did.
Like
even better now.
Yeah.
So for sure,
a good example.
There you go. There you go. So for She-Hulk, and I'm just looking at it right now. For She-Hulk, when you look at the She-Hulk, when you look at that show, her hair is as annoying as the show was. When she was She-Hulk, her hair was always a thing. So I mean, it's nothing for them to to do what they did with Wonder Woman to do with She-Hulk and give us a 2,000 run. I'm sorry, to a 2,500 run and have.
I think they will.
They will. They definitely will. I think that will happen pretty soon.
And I think you may have mentioned this, and I apologize if it wasn't you, but someone brought up a good point. I think it was you. I feel that they're going to milk this because it's working, and I feel like when it becomes too much for collectors, they're going to do like what they did with that couple of Iron Mans. And they're going to serialize these. And then it's going to be like, crap, I can't miss out. Because now you're going to serialize 2,000. Now you're going to serialize 1,000 of them. And they know they have that in their back pocket. I think that they're purposely holding back from doing the extra work that would take on that until they start seeing a significant dip. And then they start doing that. And I think, Jay, that may combat your argument there for the future. They may have thought this through.
Yeah, could be. It could be.
I'd rather them serialize them than not. I'd rather they be serialized than them just saying it's limited to 3,000.
And I think that's what's going to end up happening, and that's going to piss a lot of the early adopters to the Artisan line off, because it's like, well, goddamn, y'all should have been doing this. How hard was it to just stamp that shit on a box? You know what I'm saying? They should have been doing that from the get go, or give us a nice little printed out piece of paper just saying this shit. Hey, this is one of 4,000. You know what I'm saying? It just adds to the value. But I mean, they're saying it on the site, they're saying it on Sideshow. Who knows? My thing is, I think that there's still a lot of these floating around, and let's be honest, they come from China where things are heavily replicated. So I'm sure of it. I'm sure I'll probably have some figures here that I probably bought from overseas that are actually replicated, and we wouldn't know anything about it because it's done so goddamn well. We wouldn't know. No. And here it is. Do I care? Don't. As long as the shit looks good.
Ignorance is bliss.
As long as
I know the steak isn't real.
Yeah. Hey, as long as it looks good and the shit doesn't fall apart, I'm good, you know. Yeah. But to go that deep with, but here's the thing: if we can't prove it, nobody would ever know. You know, I mean, it's the same. It's almost kind of like the same thing with Nikes. With Nikes, they're made in China, and all, you know, Nike just comes and all they do is pick the million pairs or whatever and be like, okay, we want these Jordan 11s, we'll take these, boom, those are ours, and then the rest of them get farmed out to different markets, and that's how you get these unauthorized pairs. So I'm sure the same thing is being done with Hot Toys or any other product that's out there. But if that ever gets proven, there goes Hot Toys credibility. So I don't know if that's exactly true, or who knows, but I think it would behoove them at some point later down the line, maybe next year, who knows, maybe with the next Artisan releases, to go ahead and just stamp those damn boxes. One of 4,000.
I agree. Well, look, I respect to all of you and everybody here. I'm gonna close it here. I really appreciate. Usually, I want to keep this to 2 hours, but this was great being able to go here tonight. Again, everybody here, Lane, you're being very gracious. I don't know if you want to pick it up again and show if you've got it handy.
Don't actually have it with me.
You don't. You had it earlier, but we're giving away. It's the Selena Kyle, right?
Selena Kyle, Dark Knight Trilogy,
figure. Hot Toys figure next week.
Or whenever next stream.
Next stream, which hopefully is next week.
Yeah.
I'm going to try to come back on Sundays, and I'm kind of petering out at the moment, which is understandable. But for you to enter into it, what you got to do is not just don't put in the chat. Chat doesn't matter. You got to comment on this video, because I'm going to go back to the video. Of course, I'm going to give you an opportunity during the live show to go back and find the video and comment on it for a couple hours before I run the raffle. But comment on this video to enter it. And while you're doing it, baby, can you smash that like button? So go ahead. We're going to do a giveaway the next stream. It's looking like it'll be next Sunday. So stay tuned for that. Really appreciate Lane Kramer for doing that. And, I'm going to do this like this. Connor, really appreciate you being here. You have some great content. You do some great stuff. I encourage everybody, if you're not subscribed to the Hot Toys hotline, it is like a hotline, baby. You want the latest news? You want to know what's going on with Hot Toys? You want great conversation? Go ahead and subscribe to this channel of this man here. I really appreciate you being here today.
Well, hey, thanks for thinking of me and having me on, especially with a special show for you. And like I said, the biggest thing is I'm glad you're okay, and I'm glad you're able to do something that makes you happy amongst such a horrible situation. And I think I could speak for all of us, panel, everybody in the chat. We're just happy that you're here, and I'm happy to be here with you. And it means a lot to have you in this community. And like I said, I would not be on YouTube if it weren't for guys like you and Nate, and you were the stuff I was watching before I made my channel. So, really great to have you around, and appreciate having you around. And I'm so glad that you're here with us and healthy as you can be. And you know, I was just watching you, you know, the whole time we were on stream, and just seeing you smile. I think it's just an awesome thing, because, like I said, I can't even imagine. I remember back when, you know, Sean, who used to be on the stream with us a lot, he was having heart problems and stuff, and he hasn't been able to come back. So for you to be able to come back so soon, because he's been out of the game for a minute, is awesome. It really is. So I'm happy for you, man, and it's great to be here.
No, and I appreciate you saying that, and thanks everybody in the chat, and Ricardo, what you're saying, and Mafia and everybody. And no, Connor, it's according to my doctors, the surgeons, my cardiologist, my doctor, I seem to be doing more and better than most people that go through this. So I am taking it easy. You know, I convinced my wife, let me do this tonight. You know, I do get really tired really quick. It is a long road, and I just got to watch. But no, I really enjoy this and enjoy everybody here. So I really, really appreciate that, and appreciate you coming on. So we're going to keep trucking along and collecting here, and hopefully be back next Sunday night. And my brother from another mother, good friend of mine here, Jay, brother cousins, and you know, haven't been able to be on your show, haven't been able to do my show, but I really appreciate you jumping on here today, for sure. And happy anniversary to you. And
thank you.
I just want to tell everybody here, if you haven't, make sure you subscribe to Brother Pleasant Story Reviews as well. Incredible channel, incredible man, good family there. And I appreciate you being here, Jay.
Oh man, you're way too kind. No, I'm sorry for being late. Like I said, I was at the beach and I couldn't get, you know.
I didn't think you'd be able to come on, quite honest, because your anniversary.
Yeah, I'm sorry to hold up everybody's show. I just was like, let me try to get it at the last minute and say at least hi. So, but no, thank you for much. You know, thank you so much for having me. And I mean, Connor said it all. That was beautiful. That was beautiful, man. I appreciate you saying
I
that.
like you being here at the end, because that just makes Connor the odd man out here, not being one of the cool hat-bearing trio.
Lane, you're a cosplayer with your hat.
Yeah,
they've been doing this stuff with the hats, bro. You're new to the hat game. They're not.
No, I've been wearing hats here for like since I was 13.
This is the first time I've seen you in
I was going to say, just not when I'm around, apparently, because this is like.
I'm like, don't wait a minute. Don't you guys stream together? He's never hold on, Connor.
Never seen him with a hat.
Never. Oh shit.
Hey, also everybody, this week Hot Toys was quiet this week, so would not be surprised you might be having to pop on at like 7 to 8 a.m. in the morning, seeing the certain.
I'm just saying, if they do that, Luke, I'm gonna pop on.
I'm gonna tell you, if they do Wolverine, my ass will pop on. I ain't 3 a.m. in the damn morning.
Yeah, brother cousin sees brown suit Wolverine coming. He's just gonna be like, "What do I have on order, and what do I need to make sure you either have to not pay for like my next car payment, or what figures do I need to cancel to make sure day one I can just put like $500 down on this Wolverine to make sure he paid off." And
like, does my daughter really need to eat this week? I mean, seriously, it's so overrated. It's so overrated.
Ghostbusters,
you know,
food.
There's a reason. You know, a week will do everybody a body good.
Well, listen, everybody, what a lot of fun. Lane, you don't have a channel, but you know, subscribe to Lane's hat, because Aaron Rodgers, the Steelers, are going to win the Super Bowl. You heard it right here. The Hot Toys listen. The Steelers and Aaron Rodgers are going to win the Super Bowl. And you have to wonder, is this what they call me, baby?
They call him the Wizard.
That would be one of every.
All right, so listen, I've got to close it out. For those that have missed the outro, I'm going to go ahead and play it. If you've missed the season premiere intro of Ancient Action Figure Season 2, you don't have to rewatch it. I'm going to play it right now for Brother Cousins and Hot Toys Hotline and Lane Kramer, a.k.a. Aaron Rodgers. I don't always spill coffee and wash it down with wizard juice. But what I do, baby, I do it right here at the 6 Scale Cantina. Once again, the premiere intro of Ancient Action Figures. Stay thirsty, baby. Hong Kong, a special administrative region of China, is rich in ancient history, and now riddled with new history, mired in mysterious disappearances of people and precious artifacts.
Hong Kong is not only riddled with ancient mysteries from the past, but is a mecca of otherworldly phenomena today. What's interesting about all this is some ancient action figure theorists believe that some of these artifacts are in-art and Hot Toys action figures just like this. Some ancient holy texts show these artifacts to be precious.
In Hong Kong, there's a secret base right now, and that facility seems to be attracting these extraterrestrials to our planet.
Is the attraction part of some sacred connection? Does this connection link to a Q system? Are these artifacts so lifelike, these head sculpts so real, that they're actually watching us?
Some do believe they are watching us, like the numbered skulls of old.
The questions surrounding these related mysteries remain unsolved, but will the future soon reveal the truths behind extraterrestrials, their intentions, and their desire for these artifacts? So you do have to ask yourself, are these otherworldly beings keeping track of us by using in-art and Hot Toys action figures as bugs in our collection room? And is this the debut episode of Ancient Action Figures Season 2? And I say, let's go ahead and dive into all of this right now.